right lanes. Looking at about a 5-minute delay right now. Also, the exit to northbound Cumberland, the on-ramp northbound Cumberland closed. Those should reopen shortly. Inbound Eisenhower, the exit to Racine is closed. That roadwork should lift soon. Inbound Stevenson, traffic hits the brakes. First Avenue to Harlem, where 2 right lanes closed. 38 minutes either way between 355 and Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's heavy. Central First Avenue, work of the 2 right lanes. Downtown Balboa is still closed for marathon cleanup in Columbus and Lakeshore Drive. It should reopen today. That's traffic. I'm Jim Calamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, and our meteorologist this morning, Steve Williams.
Partly sunny, windy, and cool today, the high 52. Partly cloudy, breezy, chilly tonight, low 36. For tomorrow and Friday, partly sunny, the high tomorrow 55. The high on Friday at 60. Showers on Saturday. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
45 at O'Hare. Remember, starting at 6 a.m., a lakefront flood advisory. Your next news at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Michael Medved at michaelmedved.com for Town Hall. An important new study from the American Medical Association makes the point that children hurt their school performance not by the total hours they spend on screen time, but by the kind of screens they choose to watch. In the journal JAMA Pediatrics, the authors summarize 58 studies published in recent years. Their conclusions show that time spent watching TV or playing video games is just as destructive as experts have long maintained, particularly damaging children's achievement during their teenage years. But other sorts of screen time, like social media on smartphones or surfing the web, prove far less destructive because they're less passive, more communicative. In an era when parents sometimes spend thousands on tutors to boost a child's academic prospects, they could produce better results by strictly limiting time, gawking at the tube, or lost in the fantasy world of video games.
Sponsored by ADF, Alliance Defending Freedom.
Custom designed and constructed homes are only as good as their foundation. Likewise, choosing a custom home builder to build your forever family home is the foundational decision for the biggest investment of your life. Trust the experience and vision of McNaughton Development to make your dream home a reality. McNaughton has a proven track record of building high-quality, award-winning custom-designed homes throughout the Chicagoland suburbs and will guide you through every aspect of the home building process, from finding the perfect lot to working with preferred architects, project managers, and in-house designers for selections and customizations, to a successful walkthrough and close of your forever home. Find out more about partnering with McNaughton Development to turn your home vision into a reality. Visit McNaughtonDevelopment.com to explore everything currently available, including Lakeside Point and Waterview Estates of Burr Ridge, Copperleaf of Downers Grove, Chestnut River Point of Naperville, Bluff Point of Orland Park, and Madison Estates of Hinsdale. Visit McNaughtonDevelopment.com.
What if being in recovery from a mental or substance use disorder was something we proudly showed the world? Millions of people are in recovery, sharing hope and support with family, friends, and community. Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. Every Saturday morning at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, let's review the minutes from last night's Politburo Executive Committee meeting.
Okay.
Not everybody could probably watch all 3 hours. Holy cow.
Who switched over to the Nationals game, huh? To see them qualify to get into the World Series for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Yeah, well, there was 3 hours. There were 12 socialists. What could go right? Not a lot. And I like the tone setting that was done by fossil fuel billionaire Tom Steyer. It's just nice. You know, this is his introduction to the nation.
Yeah, Yeah.
Other
He didn't
than,
have to pay for this airtime.
Yeah,
is what we're saying.
exactly. Other than his canned impeachment commercials, and so you know, he's a unifier, a moment of solidarity, extending goodwill to his fellow combatants.
Mr. Sauer, you've been calling for impeachment for 2 years. Does there need to be bipartisan support?
Well, Anderson, this is my first time on this stage, so I just want to start by reminding everybody that every candidate here is more decent, more coherent, and more patriotic than the criminal in the White House.
Do we clap?
Please clap. Please clap.
But I also want to point out that Anderson's right. 2 years ago, I started the Need to Impeach movement because I knew there was something desperately wrong at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, that we did have the most corrupt president in the country, and that only the voice and the will of the American people would drag Washington to see it as a matter of right and wrong, not of political expediency.
You know what he reminds me of? One of my volleyball players or a basketball player who thinks that they're really good, and then when they get out there on the court, they realize, oh, I'm not that good. And that's when their parents realize, oh, they're not that good.
Well, the good news was that you didn't have to hear from Tom Steyer for about 90 minutes after that.
I was wondering, did he go off stage and take a nap and then come back? Because we didn't hear from him.
Was it me, or does he remind you of...
Of what?
He reminded me, I couldn't quite place it at first, sort of a cross between Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka and Jonathan Harris as Dr. Smith from Lost in Space.
Oh.
But I mean, listen to Dr. Smith from Lost in Space.
I was on the point of landing on the Isle of Capri. Now I'll never get there. Yeah.
No, Tom Steyer, no, the musical bed, but...
Mr. Sauer, you've been calling for impeachment for 2 years. Does there need to be bipartisan support?
Well, Anderson, this is my first time on this stage, so I just want to start.
I was on the point of landing on the Isle of Capri. Now I'll never get there. Yes, spare us your ridiculous remarks, you insensitive idiot.
Well, I saw a fly. Did you really? There are billions of flies on Earth, remember?
And I think Robot sounds like Anderson Cooper.
Yeah,
or maybe I'm
he
just
does.
trying to shoehorn this all into Lost in Space because that's how I felt during those 3 hours with Tom Steyer. And by the way, he is not the only sort of unctuous pro forma political hack. Of course, the title, the reigning champion, the title holder.
Tebow.
Yeah, no question.
You know, we've got one shot to make Donald Trump a one-term president. And how we talk about each other in this debate actually really matters. I've had the privilege of working with or being friends with everybody on this stage, and tearing each other down because we have a different plan, to me, is unacceptable. I have seen this script before. It didn't work in 2016, and it will be disaster for us in 2020.
2020. Why does he articulate?
You get that at every debate, though.
The call for unity.
Sides. Yes. They're like, you know, hey, we're all friends here. Let me just say something. Let me say something powerful that nobody's ever said. Every person who's a member of my party is better than every person who's a member of the other party. Ah! Oh, God. Oh, I understand. You're telling me you have nothing to say. Or you're telling me that's how little you think of me. Sort of that patronizing pablum, to borrow the alliteration of a Dr. Smith from
there you go.
Lost in Space.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Now, Elizabeth Warren was the center of the universe last night.
She's the front runner. Yeah.
And so she had to riposte and parry with a number of her friends, colleagues on stage. I don't know which one I like best. I guess probably just because of the awkwardness of it, the Biden-Warren on who gets credit and how much does each person get for the creation of this over-officious Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that Elizabeth Warren was talking about.
You know, following the financial crash of 2008, I had an idea for a consumer agency that would keep giant banks from cheating people.
And I went on the floor and got you votes. I got votes for that bill. I convinced people to vote for it. So let's get
we understand what got votes means.
Senator Warren, do you want to respond?
I am deeply grateful to President Obama, who fought so hard to make sure that agency was passed into law. And I am deeply grateful to every single person who fought for it and who helped pass it into law. But understand.
You did a hell of a job of your job.
Thank you.
Weird.
You talking to me?
It was weird. The
you
only moment weirder was when Biden groped Bernie Sanders at the end.
Well, he smelled his hair and just gave him a little tap on the tushy
Oh.
to make sure his heart's ticking.
What he should have done is turn him on to a good anti-dandruff shampoo. Did you see
The flakes, yes.
the flakes on his sport?
Well, he's been worried about his heart more than his head, if you know what I mean. But also, if I was his cardiologist when I was watching Bernie Sanders, I kept thinking, "Oh, what? Please don't. This is not worth it." Because he seems so agitated.
Well, that's
that's how he is.
Bernie.
But after coming off a heart attack and getting 2 stents in your heart valves, I would have sat that one out last.
Well,
night.
that was a question for all of the septuagenarians. And by the way, I love the two-shot. You appreciate this in news.
Yeah.
The two-shot of those 3 septuagenarian White Walkers together.
Yeah.
That was precious. But all 3 were asked the sort of drop and give me 20 question by Aaron Burnett. The health question, not just Bernie, but also Creepshow Joe, and also Elizabeth Warren, who we forget if she were elected president, she would be the oldest president ever elected upon taking office.
Right. She's 70, but guys, she's had some work done, so she looks 60. I think she does. She's slim. She's had a facelift. If you see her picture from 10 years ago to now, I think a little nose job, definitely a facelift.
I think that's just the Native American genes.
Oh.
You're 78 years old and you just had a heart attack. How do you reassure Democratic voters that you're up to the stress of the presidency?
Well, let me invite you all to a major rally we're having in Queens, New York.
And AOC's going to be there.
It's a big reveal. We're going to have a special guest at that event, and we are going to be mounting a vigorous campaign all over this country. That is how I think I can reassure the American people.
Look, one of the reasons I am running is because of my age and my experience. With it comes wisdom.
Yeah, yes.
We need someone to take office this time around who on day one can stand on the world stage, command the respect of world leaders from Putin to our allies, and know exactly what has to be done to get this country back on track. And I will release my medical records as I have 21 years of my tax records, which no one else on this stage has done, so that you can have full transparency as to my health and what I am doing.
I will outwork, outorganize, and outlast anyone, and that includes Donald Trump, Mike Pence, or whoever the Republicans get stuck with. Look,
she's so funny.
Yeah. That field is on life support.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Tom Killoran Photography is ready to memorialize your next event with photos that come to life and preserve the memories for generations. They can accommodate your large group photos to individual portraits, wallet size to panoramic. They can even print your photos on location as a take-home keepsake for your party guests. Visit KilloranPhotography.com. AM 560 The Answer hired Tom Killoran Photography for our annual charity golf outing, and the finished product was amazing. Book Tom Killoran Photography for your upcoming corporate event, family reunion, wedding, bar mitzvah, or any event you want to capture forever. And those old family videos you have on VHS tape, it's time to preserve them forever. Tom Killoran Photography can transfer your beloved memories to DVD and can restore your older faded photos or enlarge them. Visit KilloranPhotography.com. KilloranPhotography.com. KILLORAN Photography.com.
Hey, if you want your basement dry most of the time, then Permaseal is not the company for you. Permaseal hears story after story of homeowners who say their basement leaks only when it rains. Well, you don't want your living room or bedroom getting wet, then why settle with a wet basement? For over 40 years, Roy Spencer and the folks there at Permaseal have believed that your basement should be dry no matter how hard it rains. That's right. You can have a permanently dry basement. Just give them a call, 800-421-SEAL. They offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all of the time, you know who to call. Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325. Or go to permaseal.net.
It's happening. Wherever cupcakes are being frosted, songs are being recorded, and engines are being tuned, ADP is designing a better way to work. With industry-leading HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll, more companies rely on ADP than any other HR partner. From small business to global enterprise. See how ADP can help you and your people achieve what you're working for at design.adp.com. ADP, always designing for people.
Napa know-how. Why should you buy a 99-cent Napa bag? Because it's no ordinary bag. It can save you 20% on 3 or more items you can fit inside. Some call that magic. Others say it's the 8th wonder of the world. But whatever it is, it's the best way to save you 20% on brakes, filters, wipers, and more. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Minimum 3 items. Exclusions apply. Offer ends 10/31/19.
Hackers are everywhere, and it's not if, it's when they infiltrate your system and, worse, compromise and steal your client's information. That's why you need to get a hold of Turnkey IT. Right now, they're offering a free security audit, which is normally $600. It's free. You just have to contact them at turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro. Don't become another company that has had its network, or worse, its client's information compromised. Turnkey is a reputable company. They've been a proud partner of AM 560 for years. They understand the needs of small to medium-sized businesses, whether it's 5 or 200 employees. Don't wait. Get a free security audit of your technology systems, normally a $600 value. Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on what's important. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. For those who watched some or all of the Democrat-Socialist debate last night, your favorite moment, favorite candidate?
312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Favorite moderator, favorite intermission?
Who was the other guy? I know Aaron Burnett, Anderson Cooper, and...
New York Times.
Oh, okay.
Joe and Hoffman Estates.
Hey, guys. I didn't watch any of it. I was busy rearranging my sock drawer.
Right.
But
Yes.
did you guys watch the entire debate?
I watched until about 9:35, and then I swithed over to the Nationals game.
Oh,
and then
you
I went
missed
to bed.
you missed the closing statements. I watched all 3 hours. Was riveted. Now to be clear, Joe. To be fair and full disclosure, I was drinking, so that helped.
Oh, good.
Yeah, go ahead.
There has to be labor laws against making you guys do something like that, 3 hours of that.
It's a form
So
of
you might wanna
harassment
talk
like
to your
I've never
boss.
seen. Yeah.
Thanks.
And today's National Bosses Day, so yeah.
Thank you for your representation, Joe. Yeah, that's
not the
something
time to bring it up.
may want to build into the next contract. It's about the debate watching duties.
Well, one of my favorite moments was Andrew Yang when he was talking about Amazon.
I support impeachment, but we shouldn't have any illusions that impeaching Donald Trump will, 1, be successful, or 2, erase the problems that got him elected in 2016. We're standing in the great state of Ohio, the ultimate purple state, the ultimate bellwether state. Why did Donald Trump win your state by 8 points? Because we got rid of 300,000 manufacturing jobs in your towns, and we're not stopping there. How many of you have noticed stores closing where you work and live here in Ohio? Raise your hands.
No.
It's not just you. Amazon alone is closing 30% of America's stores and malls, soaking up $20 billion in business while paying 0 in taxes. These are the problems that got Donald Trump elected, the 4th industrial revolution. And that is going to accelerate and grow more serious regardless of who is in the Oval Office. The fact is, Donald Trump, when we're talking about him, we are losing. We need to present a new vision, and that even includes talking about impeaching Donald Trump.
Yeah,
Don't
fine.
talk about him, then talk about him.
Whatever. Could you just read the lottery numbers?
Well, I was waiting for him to do the big reveal of who won the $1,000 a month prize.
That's all anybody's waiting for him.
And then I wanted people to come
do.
out with a bunch of, balloons and flowers, like, congratulations, You and Coshocton, Ohio, you've won.
Adam, Andrew Yang has forays into making some sense, but it's all destroyed by his repetition that $12,000 a year, this universal basic income idea, provides some sort of economic security to people displaced by automation, people lose their jobs, just people layer that on to transfer payments that they already receive. The whole thing is sort of a germ of idea that has grown into a monstrosity with this guy on these stages. It's really actually quite silly.
I think he's matured, though, over the last 3 debates.
He's
more coherent. He doesn't, speak in 2 or 3 sentences and stop.
We'll know he has matured when he puts on a tie.
Oh,
not
okay.
until then.
Oh, not until. All right. The tie test. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Sean Casten, local congressperson, socialist. Local socialist Sean Casten calls Dan Crenshaw a racist for opposing illegals voting. 538.
And later, the latest on the CTU strike. Will they or won't they? But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
43 degrees and a lakeshore flood advisory beginning at 6 a.m. Chicago Teachers Union a step closer to going on strike tomorrow. Negotiations resulting yesterday in no tentative deal.
We have not achieved enough of these negotiations to say that we are done fighting. We need more.
Chicago Public Schools prepared for the possibility of a teacher's strike tomorrow. Students who need a place to go encouraged to attend their regular school. Buildings will be open with a normal bell schedule. Grieving relatives of 13 police officers killed in a cartel ambush gathered outside funeral homes late last night, many of them angry at the government and commanders they believe sent loved ones to a certain death in Mexico. More than 30 suspected cartel gunmen waylaid the police as they were traveling in a convoy to serve a warrant. California Senator Kamala Harris says Donald Trump has sold out allies in Syria.
What has happened in Syria is yet again Donald Trump selling folks out. And in this case, he sold out the Kurds, who, yes, fought with us, and thousands died in our fight against ISIS.
At last night's Democrat presidential debate in Ohio, South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
The flag on my shoulder represented a country known to keep its word, and our allies knew it, and our enemies knew it.
Thank you, Mayor.
You take that away, you are taking away what makes America America.
Thank you, Mayor.
It makes our troops and the world a much more dangerous place.
Democrat presidential candidates targeted the president's decision throughout the night to pull U.S. troops out of northern Syria, including former Vice President Joe Biden.
I would not have withdrawn the troops, and I would not have drawn the additional 1,000 troops who are in Iraq, which are in retreat now, being fired on by Assad's people.
Vice President Mike Pence will be joined by Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, heading to Turkey later today. Former State Department official Michael McKinley will testify today in the impeachment inquiry of President Trump as that continues. The protesters in Hong Kong are taking out their anger on LeBron James, millions of them. Many have been seen in the streets burning his NBA jersey after he criticized the Houston Rockets general manager for tweeting support for the pro-democracy movement in Hong Kong. President Trump honoring the NHL champion St. Louis Blues at the White House.
After 52 years, the Blues finally and triumphantly raised the Stanley Cup.
President even had a little fun yesterday. One point calling up someone to auction off the Stanley Cup. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot pushing 2 new options for a Chicago casino. One calls for a casino owned by the city and state. The other calls for a privately owned casino. The Chicago area home built on land where notorious serial killer John Wayne Gacy's home once sat is now for sale. 3-bedroom, 2-bath house located in Norwood Park Township, priced at $459,000. It was built after Gacy's brick ranch was torn down in 1979. Following Gacy's arrest in 1978, investigators found over 24 bodies buried in the crawl space of that home. It's 5:35. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The mainstream media wants to divide Americans into neat little groups, and they want you to believe that everyone in each of those groups thinks alike. John Anthony and Charles Love are here to blow up that lie. Join them for Black and Right this Saturday at 1 p.m. when they expose the lies of the media and the hypocrisy of the left and have fun doing it. It's Black and Right this Saturday at 1 p.m. right here on AM 560. The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply.
Guys, got hair loss? I know what you're thinking. Should I shave my head? Comb it over? Wear a hat? Just stop. This isn't 1970. Keep your hair and your confidence because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration expert, can give you your real, natural-looking hair back permanently. They're giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to everyone who texts MORE to 85850. Dude, you don't have to look like your dad because this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they use the latest technology to give you your real hair back. You wash it. You cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. And the best part, Bosley's permanent solution is protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Let them show you for free how awesome your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off. Text MORE to 85850. That's MORE to 85850.
Hey everyone, Ken here. For 2 years now, you've heard Carrie and I use metaphors to test to see if you think your home or your business could use a revenue shot in the backside. Today, because of our new website, I can be a little bit more direct. Income Store has 2 doors. If you have more time than money, you're going to live under door number 1. You're going to see over 400 digital assets, 5 to 20 minutes apiece, that'll teach you how to manage numbers and lead people, or show you 6 growth tips you've never heard of. All of this so you can start growing your home or your business revenue literally immediately. If you have more money than time, door number 2 is going to be for you. You can view some of our managed services, look for more done-for-you packages. 34% of Americans in 2018 visited one of our managed services. Forbes 3 years in a row quoted, Income Store is an expert at generating home or business revenue. If you'd love to explore how to check out adding revenue to your home or business, just go to incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com. Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
5:37, AM 560 traffic center time, and here is Jim Telemonte.
It's windy this morning. If you're hauling anything, be sure it is well secured. Right now, the expressways and tollways mostly look pretty good after some overnight road work wrapped up on Kennedy, Stevenson, and I-57. We are seeing some mild delays now on the inbound Bishop Ford Freeway from the Stony Island feeder to the merge. Pretty routine with this morning slowdown. It's a 2 or 3 minute delay. The Ryan looks good right now, and I-57 is cleared up after overnight work near Cicero Avenue. The Edens is fine, the Kennedy as well. No delays to report yet on the Eisenhower. Stevenson just a little bit congested around Pulaski. Tollway traffic moves nicely. No problems in Northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Windy, cooler, intervals of clouds and sunshine throughout the day. High 52, currently 45 at O'Hare, and we are tracking those winds for you out of the northwest at 22, gusting to 40 miles an hour. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering, bringing Chicagoland together with festive holiday parties for over 25 years. Visit tastycatering.com.
Tickets for Freedom Summit Chicago are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Here are some of the top takeaways from last night's Democrat-Socialist debate in case you missed it.
And did anyone watch? 312-642-5600 turnkey.pro enter line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Before Mike Scott's newscast, I played a clip from Andrew Yang, sort of offering a hint of caution on impeachment. And it was interesting because that was the question that dominated the first 20 minutes or so of the debate. And you would expect it would be mainly a competition to see who's most excited about impeaching and attempting to remove the president from office. And it was that largely, but there were some surprising notes of caution at that moment during that 20-minute discussion, as well as sort of peppered throughout the debate. Andrew Yang offered one. Tulsi Gabbard did. Cory Booker did. Even Bernie Sanders. Even Bolshevik Bernie said he hopes that he's impeached, but he thinks it would be a disaster if the American people believe that that was all the socialists were taking on was impeachment. Here's sort of the compendium of the 12 on impeachment.
2 years ago, I started the Need to Impeach movement because I knew there was something desperately wrong at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yeah, impeachment is the way that we establish that this man will not be permitted to break the law over and over without consequences.
Our framers imagined this moment, a moment where we would have a corrupt president.
Reparation age.
And our framers then rightly designed our system of democracy to say there will be checks and balances. This is one of those moments.
You know, it's interesting. Those three give you a flavor. Reparation age, I find her just uproarious. Kamala Harris invoking the wisdom of the framers, because she has such respect for our founding fathers, doesn't she? Good grief.
And then her dialect, her tone was so weird yesterday. It was different than it has been the prior debates.
No, it was
She was
shrill
talking
and
more
angry.
street. No, she's dropping G's and doing things that she normally doesn't do.
No, she's got a whole dude gotta go internet meme with T-shirts and the whole thing that's been up and running for some time. She is in desperate straits, and so she needed to have some William Jennings Bryan moments yesterday to resuscitate her campaign. She really didn't, but she attempted to. Dan in Lake Zurich, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that good morning. Never really thought I'd feel this way, but I'm actually afraid for the Democratic Party.
You're afraid what they're going to do to
all I got to
themselves?
say today.
You're afraid they're going
Yes,
to do something to harm themselves? What do you mean?
Like they're going to tear the Democratic Party apart, and we won't have a couple parts of our government working together anymore. They're just going to disappear from the face of the earth.
All right. Thanks for the call, Dan. Appreciate it. Well, so the impeachment, the notes of caution on impeachment from some unusual quarters was interesting. I think there's some recognition that if we're not talking about some policy proposals that actually impact people's quality of life, then we're sort of playing into Trump's hands, making this completely a referendum on impeachment in 2020. That was one big takeaway for me. Another was, and this is, I think you're going to hear from the punditocracy, that with Bernie's health questions and even with the forthcoming AOC endorsement.
Well, it's not only AOC. I know if you heard the news, Omar and Tlaib are going to be there with AOC. It's going to be a big, huge social fest.
6 of one, half dozen of the other. AOC, throw in the other
And
two.
Presley's coming too.
The other two.
It's the Spice
social
Girls.
Spice Girls.
It's Bernie and the Spice Girls.
Right.
That's what it's going to be a new Broadway musical.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Bernie and then the Spice Girls around him. Bernie. Oh yeah, socialism.
He should come out dressed like Robert Palmer, and they should do the Addicted to Bernie
Hey.
spoof. What do you think?
Justin, I think we have something for you.
Yeah, sure, exactly. Although I don't want to see.
Wait.
Well, never mind. I won't say it. So he's getting these endorsements, but he's fading, and there is a third track for somebody. And so coming out of yesterday, the suggestion is, well, that third track could very well be occupied. Some people suggesting Amy Klobuchar. I mean, all she did yesterday was remind people that she's actually running for president. It was these people have debates, and then they don't have the infrastructure, the finances to sustain anything. They're not doing anything important, saying anything important. So then they disappear, and people don't have the mind share to remember 12 candidates. They're not paying that close of attention, so they remember the top liners getting most of the media attention, Biden, Warren, Bernie, and they forget Amy Klobuchar's even in the race. Then she has a debate. Oh, she says some things, and there were some fun exchanges. So now I remember she's in it too. But Mayor Pete, Mannequin Pete, from the Macy's Men Department in Mishawaka, he was more aggressive last night.
Than ever before. I thought he did very well.
Aggressively vanilla, but it doesn't matter. The substance doesn't matter. What matters coming out of this debate is how it's going to be covered. And so the post-debate analysis and the verdicts on who are the winners and losers from the left media will be particularly impactful for these candidates. And so Mayor Pete has gotten a pretty positive verdict from some of the early returns because of exchanges like this, like this one he had with Bobby O. Bobby O and Mayor Pete talking about Bobby O's gun confiscation proposal.
Saying we're going to take away your AR-15s, and Mayor Pete's like, no, you can't. You can't do that. It's not possible.
Yesterday, you referred to mandatory buybacks as confiscation and said that Congressman O'Rourke has been picking a fight to try to stay relevant. Your response on guns?
Well, Congressman, you just made it clear that you don't know how this is actually going to take weapons off the streets. If you can develop the plan further, I think we can have a debate about it, but we can't wait. People are dying in the streets right now. We can't wait for universal background checks that we finally have a shot to actually get through. We can't wait to ban the sale of new weapons and high-capacity magazines so we don't wind up with millions more of these things on the street. We can't wait for red flag laws that are going to disarm domestic abusers and prevent suicides, which are not being talked about nearly enough as a huge part of the gun violence epidemic in this country. We cannot wait for purity tests. We have to just get something done.
This is not a purity test. This is a country that loses 40,000 of our fellow Americans every year to gun violence. This is a crisis, and we've got to do something about it. And those challenges that you described are not mutually exclusive to the challenges that I'm describing. I want to make sure we have universal background checks and red flag laws and that we end the sale of these weapons of war. But to use the analogy of healthcare, it would be as though we said, look, we're for primary care, but let's not talk about mental health care because that's a bridge too far. People need that primary care now, so let's save that for another day. No, let's decide what we are going to believe in, what we are going to achieve, and then let's bring this country together in order to do that. Listening to my fellow Americans, to those moms who demand action, to those students who march for our lives, who in fact came up with this extraordinary, bold peace plan that calls for mandatory buybacks. Let's follow their inspiration and lead and not be limited by the polls and the consultants and the focus groups. Let's do what's right while we have time to do what's right.
Mayor Buttigieg?
The problem isn't the polls. The problem is the policy. And I don't need lessons from you on courage, political or personal. Everyone on this stage is determined to get something done. Everyone on this stage recognizes, or at least I thought we did, that the problem is not other Democrats who don't agree with your particular idea of how to handle this. The problem is the National Rifle Association and their enablers in Congress, and we should be united in taking the fight to them.
That's a mischaracterization.
So help me here. I'm sorry, what is the difference between the two on the sum and substance of the issue? What's the difference? They're competing with one another to see who breathlessly cares the most. Let's get something done. What's the something? Okay, red flag laws,
background checks,
gun confiscation. Enough, yeah. But where's the disagreement exactly?
I see what
take on the NRA. Oh, I'm courageous, and everybody on the stage is courageous.
Well, Beto O'Rourke, after the first time that he proposed this gun confiscation, and they asked him on NBC, "How are you going to implement that?" He said, "I think people will just do the right thing and turn them in."
That's what he said last night, too.
Okay.
I appreciate the
okay.
But I mean, there's supposed to be like some big moment for Mannequin Pete.
Well,
or for Bobby O. What is the difference between the two? Bobby O restated that he would forcibly take the AR-15 away from the hero of the Sutherland Springs church shooting. The man, former NRA certified instructor, who took his AR-15 and stopped the Sutherland Springs church shooter. Yeah. He would take that away under point of gun. That's what Bobby O is committed to. And frankly, that's what everybody else just about, maybe not Gabbard, I don't know, everybody else on that stage is committed to as well. They just didn't say it. So Bobby O or Mannequin Pete, what the frack is the difference? Nothing.
I think Mayor Pete Shine, though, when he took on Elizabeth Warren about how she'd pay for Medicaid for all.
Well, we'll get to that, but I want to get Julian Castro in here too, because the Bond villain stopped, petting his
little cat.
Exactly, just long enough to use this opportunity to talk about guns to take a shot at police.
The vast majority of homicides committed with a gun in this country are from handguns, not assault-style weapons. What's your plan to prevent those deaths?
Thank you very much for the question. You know, I grew up in neighborhoods where it wasn't uncommon to hear gunshots at night, and I can remember ducking into the backseat of a car when I was a freshman in high school, across the street from my school, my public school, because folks were shooting at each other. You know, in the neighborhoods, though, let me answer this question about voluntary versus mandatory. There are two problems I have with mandatory buybacks. Number one, folks can't define it. And if you're not going to door to door, then it's not really mandatory. But also, in the places that I grew up in, we weren't exactly looking for another reason for cops to come banging on the door. And y'all saw a couple of days ago what happened to Tatiana Jefferson in Fort Worth. A cop showed up at 2 in the morning at her house when she was playing video games with her nephew. He didn't even announce himself, and within 4 seconds, he shot her and killed her through her home window. She was in her own home. And so I am not going to give these police officers another reason to go door to door in certain communities, because police violence is also gun violence, and we need to address that.
Secretary Castro, thank you.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Boy, the only thing standing in the way of the Democrat Socialists and your constitutional right to self-protection is their antipathy towards police. How does that make you feel? Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, hey, Dan, good morning. Usually when the Democrats run these ads for AR sales and magazine purchases, you know, it gets people riled up and sales go up big the next couple days. But it's almost like we keep hearing this over and over that I don't think people are getting that feeling, and I'm wondering what your thought is.
Oh, you mean like they're not afraid that what Bobby O has proposed will actually come to pass? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, because I do take these people at their word. They're serious, and they can make a movement go. But in the past, you know, the next day, the stores were jammed with people, you know, get new toys out there. And I don't know, maybe we just keep hearing it so much that the fear is down. And that's my feeling, and I just wondering what your thoughts are.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Tom. Probably. I mean, you get a bit of nerd to it when people just, you know, cry wolf over and over again, right? You stop responding. I think in the wake of some of the shootings where these proposals have been advanced and there's been some, you know, a few Republicans that have sort of expressed sort of a vague openness to it, that it gets people to the stores, as you were saying. I don't know that exchange between Bobby O and Mayor Pete to throw in a Julian Castro, why don't you? I don't know that it you know, gets anybody out of their home.
No, and I wonder if Julian Castro's story is true, that he heard gunshots when he was in high school, sitting in the back of the car. I mean, it just is so Biden-esque.
Well, they're all.
I'm sure he did grow up in San Antonio, which.
They're all fabulous on that stage, too, and they all have harrowing tales of heroism that, you know, may or may not be true. I mean, there's a little bit of Jussie Smollett in all of those candidates.
Okay. I mean, like when you were growing up in the mean streets of Wheaton, did you dodge gunfire, Dan, walking to school?
No.
No, because you didn't do that, right?
No. But, I mean, then again, I was taken to school in an armored vehicle. Just for precautionary reasons.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Larry Nora, founder and CEO of U-Store-It, a network of award-winning self-storage facilities in the Chicago area, and a customer of Signature Bank. We've developed over 70 storage centers throughout the city and suburbs, and our business continues to grow. We need a bank who understands the neighborhoods and communities where we are making investments. We found that in Signature Bank. They know this city and its neighborhoods because they are based right here in Chicago. Finding a local banking institution like Signature Bank has been critical to the success of U-Store-It, and we look forward to a long-term relationship.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, I'm Paul Cutler, pastor of Grace Lutheran Church in Streamwood, a proud donor of AM 560's Food for the Poor campaign. Grace is a gathering of regular people who love God, love each other, and reach out to others with the love of Christ. Mercy Community, a spirit-filled black church, and Iglesia Jerusalem, an Hispanic congregation, also meet on Grace's campus. We all work together to make a difference in the world. If you've had little or no experience with church, Grace is the place for you. If you've had a less than great experience with church, Grace is the place for you. If you want to learn more about God, more about yourself, and more about life, I personally invite you to check us out at graceistheplace.net or call us at 630-289-3996 or like us on Facebook at Grace is the Place ST. That's graceistheplace.net or 630-289-3996 or like us on Facebook at Grace is the Place ST. I look forward to meeting you.
This is Dan Frio with the Mortgage Update. The Fed did it again and helped push mortgage rates to yet another historic low. So are you holding off refinancing your home because you think rates may go even lower? Well, let me make your decision even easier. Let's refinance you now and take advantage of this opportunity. If rates drop more than 0.5% in the next 24 months, I will refinance you at the lower rate at no closing costs. Other lenders state that they'll refinance you, but watch out for the fine print. So if you have a conventional loan that's over 4.75 or FHA or VA loan over 4.5, you have nothing to lose and thousands to save. So find out how much you can save. Just pick up the phone to call me personally. That's 844-775-LOAN. That's 844-775-LOAN. Or find me on the web at windmortgage.com.
Parkside Lending, LLC is an Illinois residential mortgage licensee and an equal housing lender. NMLS 176162. Improving your home? Why not make it easy? Don't miss the free Home and Garden Show this weekend only at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake. Find the ultimate in savings and convenience with thousands of the latest home products and services for the freshest ideas to remodel, repair, and beautify your home, inside and out. Get trusted advice on your upcoming projects as you speak with local and national experts who will help you with all your home improvement needs. And be sure to attend the free expert seminars and see live product demonstrations all weekend. Create an outdoor oasis with the latest in pools and hot tubs by P&W Spas. The finest in outdoor furniture from By the Yard. Then top it off with custom metal palm trees by Designer Palms. Plus, see the latest technology in robotic mowers and snow blowers. From interiors to exteriors, from decor to outdoor. You'll find it all at the Home and Garden Show this weekend at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake with free admission and free parking. For details, visit LakeCountyHomeshow.com. That's LakeCountyHomeshow.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Do you notice that Tulsi Gabbard wore the same outfit that she wore 2 debates ago?
Yeah, the white pantsuit thing. Let me say something about Tulsi Gabbard. I'm glad you brought her up. Can I just make the point for some conservatives? Just because CNN despises her, doesn't trust her, and she addressed this, CNN pundits calling her a Russian asset. But that's the hysteria of CNN. But just because CNN doesn't like her and Trey Gowdy doesn't make her particularly interesting or thoughtful. Her positions on a range of issues, she's maybe sort of groping in the dark in some areas on the life issue, on impeachment, where the other socialists fear to tread. Okay.
Got into a pretty nice debate about pulling troops out of northern Syria with Mayor Pete. Since they both served, but no, she's not the answer.
The Mayor Pete Tulsi exchange was not dissimilar from the Mayor/Mannequin Pete O'Rourke exchange on guns.
Gun confiscation.
It was people sort of saying the same thing at each other to try to score points emotionally more so than substantively. I just, I understand you're looking for anything to hang your hat on with respect to the socialists. Like, is there anybody reasonable on that stage? The answer is just simply no, there isn't.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Burning LeBron James in effigy in Hong Kong at 6:06.
And later, I got the phone call. We'll share it. All CPS parents are on edge. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
A serial stowaway ordered held without bail. CPS is prepared for that possible teachers' strike. And the governor says, I'm not selling land for a casino. Bears place Hakeem Hicks on IR. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Joe Biden says he did nothing wrong, nor did his son. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I did my job. I never discussed a single thing with my son about anything having to do with Ukraine.
Then he pivoted.
What we have to do now is focus on Donald Trump.
And the president was a big focus in the Democratic debate on CNN. Kamala Harris said many in the call for impeachment.
I don't really think this impeachment process is going to take very long because as a former prosecutor, I know a confession when I see it.
Elizabeth Warren, after surging to the top of some polls, was also a target. Pete Buttigieg and others questioning how she'd pay for Medicare for all.
How a multi-trillion-dollar hole in this Medicare for all plan that Senator Warren is putting forward is supposed to get filled in.
Warren insists
Costs are going to go up for the wealthy. They're going to go up for big corporations. They will not go up for middle-class families.
Vice President Pence will go to Turkey today, calling for a ceasefire a week after the Turkish forces went into Syria to attack Kurdish troops who had been U.S. allies in the battle. Turkey's president says in order for him to stop the operation, Kurds must back away from a designated border area by tonight. The U.S. has already imposed economic sanctions. Congress is considering even more of them, and also
we would have a bipartisan bill to oppose the president's decision, terribly dangerous decision.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the decision to pull U.S. forces back from that area. Now, she also gave an update on impeachment. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, despite calls from Republicans for Democrats to hold a roll call vote authorizing the impeachment inquiry, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told reporters last night that won't be happening for now.
We're not here to call bluffs. We're here to find the truth, to uphold the Constitution of the United States. This is not a game for us. This is deadly serious.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy calling the inquiry a total sham. Today's senior advisor to Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, former Michael McKinley, set to be deposed. Dave?
America's listening to Fox News. 43 degrees in Chicago at 6:02 on AM 560 The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A lakeshore flood advisory remains in effect from 6 a.m. this morning until 9 this evening because of heavy gusty winds, right now at 22 miles an hour out of the north-northwest. Chicago Teachers Union is one step closer to going on strike tomorrow. Negotiations yesterday between the two sides resulted in no substantive movement or contract agreement.
Not achieved enough in these negotiations to say that we are done fighting. We need more.
Class sizes and staffing remain sticking points. Meantime, Chicago Public Schools say they're prepared for the possibility of a walkout. CPS school buildings will be open during normal bell schedules, and CPS schools will also serve meals. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot pushing two options for a Chicago casino. One calls for a casino owned by both the city and state, the other a privately held casino. Lightfoot is pitching to lower taxes, but Democrat State Representative Greg Harris says Lightfoot will have a hard time getting tax changes for casinos. Illinois lawmakers could soon require CBD products to be tested before they can be sold. State Rep Bob Morgan from the Chicago suburbs pushing a plan at the state capitol requiring all CBD products to meet a set of standards from the Department of Agriculture to actually find out if they're safe. Bulls finish up the NBA preseason tomorrow night at home against the Hawks. Nationals heading to their first World Series since FDR was in office when they were the Washington Senators. They completed a sweep of the Cardinals with a 7-4 win in Game 4 of the ALCS last night. The news, a service of Panera Bread. At Panera, get breakfast that's fast, not fast food. Try new Chipotle chicken scrambled egg and avocado breakfast wrap and pair it with a premium, freshly ground, freshly brewed coffee, all ready to go with the push of a button. Panera, food as it should be. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes every society needs norms.
The notion that society can have norms is very important. And what the left does is chaos. They hate freedom and they hate order. Any society needs it, because when the guardrails are broken, there's chaos and bad things will happen.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Of course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The Forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions.
If you run a small business, every penny counts. So saving up to 30% on your workers' comp insurance is a big deal. That's why you need a workers' comp rate check from Pi Insurance, now available for small business owners in your area. Workers' comp insurance rates can vary, and yours may have changed since you got your current policy. That's why Pi Insurance invites you to get a quick online quote right from your computer or smartphone. Simply go to piinsurance.com, and you'll know in just minutes if you're overpaying. Pi Insurance was built a better way to make workers' comp a no-brainer with an easy online experience and outstanding service. Pi's coverage is A-rated by AM Best and helps protect your business and your employees. Plus, it could save you up to 30%. Do yourself a favor. Find out if your small business is overpaying for workers' comp insurance. Check your rate today and see how much you can save at piinsurance.com. That's pieinsurance.com.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year automatically, with no limit to how much they'll match. Millions of people a year are getting their cash back matched. Discover Cashback Match. What are you waiting for? Learn more at discover.com/cashbackmatch.
6:06, check of the roads, AM 560 traffic center time with Jim Talamonte.
Metro Union Pacific Northwest Line train 602 is running behind this morning. CTA Red Line trains have some residual delays after an incident involving a person on the tracks near Jackson. Kennedy Expressway inbound, the delays are Canfield to Central, 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. Westbound 190 is congested, River Road to Bessie Coleman Drive. On Eisenhower, delays start at Wolf, 36 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 29. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. The crash at Harlem on the left shoulder. On Ryan, 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 26 minutes, I-80 to the Verge. Bishop Ford, 29. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
At 6:07 on AM 560, it's time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. Chicago's Morning Answer is next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Intervals of clouds and sun, windy and cool today, high 52, partly cloudy, breezy, chilly tonight, low 36. Tomorrow and Friday, partly sunny, the high tomorrow 55, Friday's high 60. Showers on Saturday. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
45 at O'Hare, winds gusting out of the northwest at 22, up to 40 miles an hour this morning. Next news is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Oh no, the cultural Marxists have lost another icon.
Bye-bye.
Dan Woken, writing in USA Today, LeBron James undermines values he's espoused in most disgraceful moment of his career. Most disgraceful moment of his career. Why? Just because he sided with Chinese communists? Just because he is suggesting that it's a little bit more complicated. And look, we've all had a bad week. The Lakers had a bad week. The NBA had a bad week. LeBron had a bad week. Yeah, Hong Kong protesters and Muslim minorities in China may have had a bad week too. Who could say who had the worst week? It's so difficult.
But those living in Hong Kong are having a bad life.
Well, yeah, and not to mention the Muslim minority Uyghurs in the detention camps who are being tortured in China. So sort of papering over that, LeBron James made some statements that you probably heard, but we'll repeat just for context and setup here. LeBron James in his own words.
We all do have freedom of speech, but at times there are ramifications for the negative that can happen when you're not thinking about others and you're only thinking about yourself. I believe he wasn't educated on the situation at hand, and he spoke. And so many people could have been harmed, not only financially, but physically, emotionally, spiritually. So just be careful what we tweet and we say and what we do, even though, yes, we do have freedom of speech, but there can be a lot of negative that comes with that, too.
Yeah. And as Woken writes in USA Today, the problem, LeBron, is that you've helped construct a world in which NBA players have been incentivized to criticize our leaders and our government here at home. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's part of who we are. And there's a large segment of people who agree with you when you call President Donald Trump, you bum, on Twitter, which he does, and say that going to the White House as an NBA champion used to be a great honor until you showed up. That was directed at Trump, and that was a tweet that LeBron James directed at the president, September of 2017. Maybe LeBron James should have waited a week to send that tweet.
Or maybe he should never have sent it or said anything at all.
But the waiting a week to send the tweet, that's what LeBron said that the Houston Rockets general manager should have done. Waited a week until LeBron cleared it, until LeBron helped him understand how complicated the China situation is by showing him the particulars of his deals, James Harden's Adidas contract, and so forth. Dan Woken goes on, but when you go hard at our own elected officials, it's difficult to reconcile that with the idea that China, of all countries, should be above reproach for anyone who works in the NBA. And make no mistake, LeBron, that's exactly what you were suggesting when you criticized Daryl Morey from the Rockets for not giving any consideration to, quote, the consequences and ramifications of the tweet, while making it clear you didn't want to discuss the substance of what he was saying. Right. In addition to being an ignoramus, and these two things often go hand in hand, LeBron James is a coward. He is trying to couch in moral terms his avarice and his indifference to the human rights abuses of the Chinese, or at least those concerns are subordinated to his financial interests. But he's trying to present this as some sort of thoughtful statement of values. Don't want to offend our Chinese partners in the NBA.
It's just all about money for him. And I love that the people in Hong Kong, they're furious with him, obviously, but they're burning all these LeBron jerseys in the streets. Good for them. I think we should burn him here at home.
I'm glad that...
I'm not watching him. I'm not watching the Lakers. I'm not watching NBA. I'm done.
Well, I'm not watching it either because I like basketball.
And they travel.
So that's the NBA during the regular season, at minimum, is a glorified shoot-around. It's awful basketball. It's an awful product, which is why they need to find new markets for it because...
Zion Williamson's going to change it all.
No, he's not.
Oh.
Here's the thing about this, though. I'm glad LeBron tweeted. I'm glad he's speaking out in the fork-tongued way that he's speaking out, just as I am with Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich and all of the other Marxists who are affiliated with the NBA, including their mutant commissioner, Adam Silver, because it tells you who they are. Always encourage people to talk. And now there's a lot of people who weren't paying attention to the rank hypocrisy of these individuals and their representation of the rank hypocrisy of the left who are paying attention. And let me tell you something. The NBA has a lot more cultural sway, maybe even geopolitical sway, than our politics. Certainly more people are paying attention, particularly down the demographic scale and in urban centers. I wonder, so yeah, LeBron James jerseys are being burned in effigy. What about the Sun-Times? I mean, if it was still a print publication, if anybody actually read it, We've gone from
You mean the Chicago Sun?
I'm going from something that has huge cultural sway in the NBA and star athletes to something that has no cultural sway, but it bears discussing and reporting anyway. Rick Morrissey is a sports writer for the Sun-Times. Over the weekend, commenting on this topic and essentially running interference for the cowards in the NBA that I've just named. He writes, NBA players are known for speaking out against societal issues, especially issues of race. It's true that people get to decide what battles they want to fight. Perhaps some of the players feel like they have enough on their plate. Oh, all of a sudden they do. That's what this is. I just got too many things I've already committed to. I've made too many comments on too many socio-political issues. I just don't want to tackle this one. It has nothing to do with financial concerns. Oh, isn't that generous, Rick Morrissey? You cover sports? And then he said this. But there's no way to look at the oppression of certain groups in China and not see similarities with the plight of minorities in this country. There's no way to look at the oppression of certain groups in China and not see similarities with the plight of minorities in this country. I mean, I know there's going to be no accountability for him to defend that statement, and some people will nod their heads. Some, the CTU socialists of the world, for example. I would ask Rick Morrissey, though, if he could point to the detention camps, re-education centers, to borrow the Orwellian term that's used, in China where those Uyghurs are being persecuted. Like those? Where is it here in Chicago, in America generally, that minority groups, whether it's racial minorities or religious minorities, where are they being rounded up and persecuted? I mean, other than college campuses, but they don't know they're being persecuted. Where is that happening? There's no way to look at the oppression of certain groups in China and not see similarities with the plight of minorities in this country. It's interesting because I would almost agree with him to a certain extent, but certainly not in the way that he writes it, because he's a dunce, of course. I bring this up because it's another example that I would like to provide to remind people who follow sports and politics like I do that the sports press corps is an extension of the D.C. political press corps. Mm-hmm. But yeah, oppression of certain groups in China not see similarities with the plight of minorities in this country. Yeah, you're right to some extent there, Rick. You're right. The government in the United States, the government in godforsaken states like Illinois and cities like Chicago has done horrible damage to the plight of minorities, haven't those units of government? Through the welfare state, through an education system that they run Politburo style, Chinese communist style, that doesn't educate, doesn't provide educational opportunities for minorities in places like Chicago, as we're on the eve of a strike here. Yeah, you're right, Rick. The oppression of certain groups in China similar to the plight of minorities in this country. Uh-huh. Yeah, at the hands of government. Boy, let us think through that. There are some similarities to discuss, aren't there? Not persecution, not detention camps, but the passive-aggressive, really, destruction of minority families and opportunities for minorities by extension at the hands of people like you, Rick, people who believe the same things that you believe, and then implement them as public policy when they get the reins of power. I see the similarities now, Rick. Thanks for the column. Steve in Roselle, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, and that LeBron James quote, he says it's a spiritual thing. What does he mean by spiritual?
So many people have been harmed, not only financially, but physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Yeah.
He's just trying to sound dreamy. I don't know.
It's a great question, Steve. I have no idea. Thanks for the call.
I want to know physically.
The heart hurts. And when your heart hurts...
Your whole body hurts?
Yeah.
Your whole world aches.
Emotionally, spiritually. Right. People have been hurt spiritually in the godless Chinese communists. They've been hurt spiritually. By the way, it is interesting, just trying to put a real exclamation point on the left's hypocrisy by using their own lingo against them. Some Hong Kong protesters, freedom protesters, were suggesting that Black Lives Matter. We agree Black Lives Matter, so do Hong Kongans' lives. Dan in Libertyville.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I see things through a different perspective than what we have going on here. There is a sense of the same thing happening in the United States. We have the people in Chicago who sell themselves into slavery, their children into slavery by, adopting the Democrat program of welfare, and I'll give you my vote as long as you give me what I want. And LeBron James and the other NBA players, they're selling themselves into slavery. They could just as well be locked up with those Muslims by the Chinese, and then who's going to come to get them out? Who's going to save them?
Thanks, Dan. Joe in Naperville.
Hey, weren't a lot of these black athletes the same ones saying that the owners of these establishments, NFL, NBA, are akin to plantation owners and slave owners themselves, but yet they're selling themselves out? Couldn't we make an argument that LeBron James is nothing more than a modern-day Uncle Tom?
Joe, thanks for the call. Jason on North Lake. Jason.
Hey.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to comment. The previous caller had mentioned what LeBron James meant spiritually, and I was saying he's just mentioning spiritually because he's trying to throw off and throw out other words, because the main point of what LeBron James was saying is people got hurt financially, meaning people like him that now have their multi-million-dollar deals at jeopardy with Nike or Adidas because China's upset and might pull the plug on some of these players' deals.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Thanks for the call, Jason. That's
it's
exactly
all about
right.
money and their endorsements, and it's a big business. I mean, 550 million people in China saw at least one NBA game.
LeBron James has been harmed in every possible way because his trajectory to become a billionaire has now been diverted by this unfortunate tweet by the Houston Rockets GM. These are, I'm coming around to Charles Barkley's way of thinking on this. Athletes aren't role models.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Where has the year gone? It seems like the holidays sneak up so fast. As you probably know, most retailers do their shopping in the first quarter of the year. However, Fox Valley Coins is gearing up now for the busiest season of the year. Fox Valley Coins wants to buy now before Christmas. Fox Valley Coins is one of the largest coin dealers in the entire Midwest. And with the current price of precious metals, rare coins, and currency, business has been crazy. They buy and sell all major forms of gold, silver, platinum, and palladium, and specialize in rare and collector coins and currency. For larger collections, they'll even make house calls to your home or bank from now through October. Fox Valley Coins is on Route 59, just 1 block north of I-88, at the Naperville-Warrenville border. Online at foxvalleycoins.com. Sure, they'll buy after Christmas, but they're stocking their shelves now. Take advantage. Fox Valley Coins. Online at foxvalleycoins.com. Buying, selling, and appraisals since 1981.
Imagine your son excited to go to school each day, a school where he gets to throw snowballs and play tag, where his teachers understand that boys learn differently, and where he gets the one-on-one advice he needs to become a man of character. I have friends who send their sons there, Northridge Prep. Two things they love. First, at Northridge Prep, every teacher is a role model. Through the advisory program, all students have a faculty mentor who looks out for your son like an older brother. They have regular conversations about being tough, generous, and setting goals. Secondly, Northridge Prep's common sense approach to cell phones. Cell phones are powerful tools, but they don't belong in school. 0 distractions, 0 cell phones. My friends appreciate how much more social and outgoing their sons are at school. It's a paper and pen approach that just works. I encourage you to learn all about Northridge Prep by attending their open house this Sunday, October 20th, Register online at northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
Hey, believe it or not, the calendar says October. Yes, it is fall. The leaves are starting to change colors. It's getting darker earlier. And is your energy level falling? Maybe you're having trouble sleeping, or maybe you have seasonal allergies. Here's what we do know. You are not getting enough fruits and veggies in your diet, and it's time to get healthy before the holiday season starts, because it's going to be Halloween soon. Then before you know it, Thanksgiving and Christmas and the new year. So start taking Balance of Nature. Give it a shot. Do something healthy for yourself. 6 capsules of Balance of Nature. You're getting 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies. You hear stories all the time right here on this station about how people's lives have changed by taking Balance of Nature. And the next story could be yours. But you have to order Balance of Nature today. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. And right now they're offering 35% off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This offer may end at any time, so do not wait. And start Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. Call this number to find out more information about Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy. As I said, we're on the eve of a Chicago teacher strike that looks like it's going to come to pass, at least for some period of time, Amy. And you've been notified by your
yes,
duly appointed commissars at your school.
We all got an email yesterday saying that there's a contingency plan in place if they do strike. All CPS schools will be open. They'll offer a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, yada, yada. But
it's going to be like the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, exactly. And only people that'll be there will be school administrators and people like me, because I am a CPS employee, but not a union member. But this is the phone call I got. Ready?
Atención, estudiantes y familias de las escuelas públicas de Chicago. Este es un mensaje importante de parte del CPS.
What?
Mientras que las escuelas públicas de
Can I
Chicago
press one for English?
No. See, this is what happens. I don't get anything in English because my children's last name is Hispanic, so they automatically think that we're poor, because I get SNAP applications all the time. And they also send me voicemail messages in Spanish and emails in Spanish. But then if I keep reading on, I can get the email in English.
That's a bit presumptuous, isn't it?
You think so? Yeah, but just maybe a little.
And
then I get health insurance applications all the time for my children. I'm poor.
Aren't there? Yeah, well, that's a little bit presumptuous and insulting too. But
yes,
there's a lot of Latino families that are like multi-generational here.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what I understand, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's
and not all Hispanics are poor. CPS. Thank you.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people with Latino heritage that don't speak Spanish or not
really?
fluently, right? And I think there's a lot of Swedes who don't speak Spanish too.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I understood part of it, but not all of it. So I had to read the email to get the gist of it. So
the gist of it is that the Socialist Teachers Union is taking its members out on strike on, I guess at the strike of midnight tonight.
Yeah, at 10 o'clock we should know, but we will have a final answer at 12. They met all day yesterday. They brought in catered dinner, and, it's just...
Oh, good. I'm paying for that dinner, too. I'm sure it's fantastic.
Teachers want to make this work.
Oh, yeah.
We have had very little help from the 5th floor.
That's Stacey Davies Gates. She's vice president of CTU, and she's insufferable.
It is a shame that after 10 months, we're in a position where everyone is under a tremendous amount of stress and a huge deadline.
You know, I'll tell you what. Who do you think here? Who's had the tougher week? LeBron James or the Chicago Teachers Union? I mean, I know it's not Hong Kong freedom protesters, and I know it's not weaker Muslims in China. I know it's not them.
But it's still millions of dollars involved in both.
LeBron, the Lakers, the Chicago Teachers Union. I mean, your heart just has to bleed for these people, these poor downtrodden people. Lori the Lightfoot, since she was invoked, not getting help from the fifth floor, you heard that. She says it's not close enough for her to come in and save the game.
I have offered to go to the bargaining table multiple times, and I would be there, as would Dr. Jackson, if we thought that we were close and we needed some extra push. We're not there yet.
Well, I'd get there, Lori. I think today is the day, Mayor, to step up your game. No, we don't want a strike. You have no idea.
You're getting one.
I know we're getting one because they're more interested in organizing the strike than they are in solving this problem. And because of that, there's Chicago Park District also going on strike.
Yeah, SEIU,
so all those places where we would go,
yeah,
to take the kiddies, we can't even get into our park district. So,
sad. Who's had the worst week? LeBron James, CTU, or Amy Jacobson?
Well, it's not about me. It's about my players. We have 5 games scheduled for this weekend, and they're all going to be canceled.
No.
Well, we're supposed to take on Lane Tech and defeat them, and we can't. Football, by the way, in order to qualify for state playoffs, you have to have played 8 games. So a lot of high school games are being played today instead of tomorrow so that they can qualify for state. One of those schools being Amundsen. So if you want to see a real football game, it's at 3:45 at Amundsen High School. Watch them take on Von Steuben. Yeah.
I suspect there are less people that attend every CPS football game than attend one Mount Carmel game. It's pretty close.
We had a packed house last Saturday. Packed.
100 people.
Oh no, more like 300.
Oh my gosh, 300.
And a band and cheerleaders.
Go to Wheaton Warrenville South versus Naperville North.
We've been to Wheaton, Francis. We see what you guys
go to
are
Wheaton
made
Warrenville
of.
South versus Naperville North and see 10,000.
Maybe some table.
Not exactly Friday Night Lights and CPS. And boy, I wish I could muster the empathy here.
No, everybody, we brought it upon ourselves. I mean, look who we elected. And Mayor Lightfoot, if she's going to get involved, today's the day.
No, it's not.
The CTU is trying to tell her that they're in charge. She's not.
They are
and
in
that's
charge.
what this is all about.
They are in charge. The public sector unions are in charge of the city and the state, and that continues. It continues. This is not new.
Well,
and
new for her because she's a new
the
mayor.
approach to them is not new. She didn't just arrive in Chicago. If you don't know that, you're willfully blind, including Lori Lightfoot. And by the way, Dr. Janice Jackson, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, she's not a doctor. Stop calling her doctor. Or she's like our friend, the president of Judson University says, Dr. Jean Crum.
Yes.
Crum. Dr. Jean Crum, excuse me. I'm one of those doctors that can't help anybody. Exactly.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk about the Dem Socialist responses to the president's decision to remove troops from northern Syria with Seth Frantzman, editor and Middle East Affairs analyst for the Jerusalem Post at 6:36.
But now, straight into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
43 and a lakeshore flood advisory up because of those gusty winds this morning. We've had a wind gust of over 42 miles an hour at O'Hare so far. Chicago Teachers Union one step closer to going on strike tomorrow. The union's bargaining team announcing it will unanimously recommend that the House of Delegates vote today to go forward with the work stoppage. It's a brand new report this morning saying the U.S. carried out a massive cyber attack against Iran after last month's attack on Saudi Arabian oil facilities. The attack apparently targeted physical hardware, but no other details were given. The 2020 Democrat presidential candidates were on stage. Bernie Sanders discussing his recent heart attack and says, "I'm feeling good."
We are going to be mounting a vigorous campaign all over this country. That is how I think I can reassure the American people.
Speaking at the fourth debate in Ohio, businessman Tom Steyer says Wealthy people like him will have taxes go up.
I was one of the first people on this stage to propose a wealth tax. I would undo every Republican tax cut for rich people and major corporations.
Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren says canceling student loan debt and a wealth tax are necessary. The Supreme Court will hear oral arguments today in a case involving D.C. area sniper Lee Boyd Malvo. The justices will hear the state of Virginia's appeal of a federal court ruling that Malvo should be resentenced because he was a juvenile at the time of the crimes. The search is underway this morning to find a Matson man who went missing from Blue Island and may be in danger. And the officer who shot and killed 17-year-old Laquan McDonald is no longer officially a member of the Chicago Police Department. Jason Van Dyke formally resigned last week. The Bulls are finishing up the NBA preseason tomorrow night at home against the Hawks. The News is a service of Staples. Staples gives your business more for less. It's where you find the latest tech to help you work smarter, not harder. Right now, save up to $300 on the latest PCs. Staples for your business tech and beyond. In-store only, ends 11/2/19. While supplies last, exclusions apply. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees another scam from the Democrats.
I got an idea. Vote on impeachment. Get it underway. Vote. And without a vote, nobody from the White House, the State Department, or the Trump administration should be testifying before this kangaroo court. The president is right. It's a scam.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hilco Industrial is bringing you a 2-day live on-site and webcast auction from a Chicagoland fastener manufacturer that you won't want to miss. Featuring a complete machine shop, large quantity of hand and power tools, test and measurement equipment, forklifts, pallet racking, tables, storage, general plant support, and much more. Auction Day 1 takes place October 16th in Cherry Valley, Illinois. Day 2 takes place October 17th in Wheaton, Illinois. Bid in person or online starting at 9 a.m. both days. Visit HilcoIND.com or call 1-877-37 Hilco for more details.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I've had a corrective lens restriction on my driver's license for years and years, meaning that I have to drive with glasses. So my birthday came up and my license was going to expire on my birthday. So I went to the DMV, to get that renewed, and I passed the eye exam without glasses. And the lady, she's just looking at me going, how does that even work? She goes, you aced the whole thing. And I said, well, I started taking these supplements, and I started explaining it to her. And I tell everybody about it. It's been a huge blessing for me, for sure. I'll be on this stuff for the rest of my life. It's amazing.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Balance of Nature is now offering a 35% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This offer may end at any time, so don't wait to start Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
6:38 AM 560 Traffic Center time and Jim Telemonte.
Firefighters have responded to a blaze on the south side near 47th and Kedzie. This has South Whipple Street blocked between 47th and 48th Place. Mount Eden's delay started Pratt, 22 minutes Lake Hook to the junction. Kennedy, 25 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 24. Mount Eisenhower, 38 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 31. Stevenson now 56 minutes, 355 for Lakeshore Drive, 40 from the Tri-State. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 27 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 46. Northbound Tri-State is knotted up from Cicero to Harlem with a stall in the right lane, and it's heavy Plainfield Road to 47. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Windy and cooler today, high 52. 45 at O'Hare with gusty winds. Next news at 7, Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
See Michelle Malkin, Sean Hannity, and Laura Logan at Freedom Summit 2019. Tickets on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Several of the Democrat socialists were quite exercised about Trump's withdrawal of U.S. troops from northern Syria, and they made their feelings known on the debate stage last evening, starting with Vice President Joe Biden.
Would you send American troops back into northern Syria to prevent an ISIS resurgence and protect our Kurdish allies?
I would not have withdrawn the troops, and I would not have drawn the additional 1,000 troops who are in Iraq, which are in retreat now, being fired on by Assad's people, and the President of the United States saying, if those ISIS folks escape from the prisons they're in, they'll only go to Europe and won't affect us. It has been the most shameful thing that any president has done in modern history, excuse me, in terms of foreign policy. And the fact of the matter is, I've never seen a time, and I've spent thousands of hours in the Situation Room. I've spent many hours on the ground in those very places in Syria and in Iraq. And guess what? Our commanders across the board, former and present, are ashamed of what's happening here. What I would do is I would be making it real clear to Assad that, in fact, he's going to have a problem because Turkey is the real problem here. And I would be having a real lockdown conversation with Erdogan and letting him know that he's going to pay a heavy price for what he has done. Now, pay that price.
Just to clarify, Mr. Vice President, would you want American troops back in northern Syria?
I would want those 1,000 troops to be protected by air cover, those 1,000 troops that are having to withdraw under fire, make it clear that they're not going anywhere, and have them protected, and work my way back toward what in fact needs to be done, protecting those Kurds. They lost their lives. This is shameful, shameful what this man has done.
So Biden said he would return U.S. troops to northern Syria and have a real tough talk with Turkish President Erdogan. Sounds like a business opportunity for Hunter.
Yeah, it does.
Tough talk with Erdogan. Well, sanctions are being imposed or threatened. There is a détente contingent led by Vice President Pence that has
Pompeo's
been dispatched.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So there's one perspective. Another came from Kamala Harris, who had to get her refrigerator magnet slogan in during the debate at some point. So she picked the commander-in-chief issue to do so.
What has happened in Syria is yet again Donald Trump selling folks out. And in this case, he sold out the Kurds, who, yes, fought with us and thousands died in our fight against ISIS. And let's be clear, what Donald Trump has done because of that phone call with Erdogan is basically giving 10,000 ISIS fighters a get-out-of-jail-free card. And you know who the winner is in this? There are four: Russia, Iran, Assad, and ISIS. This is a crisis of Donald Trump's making, and it is on a long list of crises of Donald Trump's making, and that's why gotta go. And when I am commander-in-chief, we will stop this madness.
Gotta go.
Gotta go.
KamalaHarris.org to get your T-shirt or some such
She
website.
doesn't say selling. She's like selling. I'm telling you, she spoke differently last night.
She's so accessible and yet so forceful. I'm impressed. For more on the substance of the topic, we're pleased to be joined by Seth Frantzman. He's an op-ed editor and Middle East affairs analyst at the Jerusalem Post. He's also the author of the book, After ISIS, America, Iran, and the Struggle for the Middle East. Seth, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. So Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, mainly Biden, but we'll throw Kamala Harris in there as well. They right to be as outraged as they were last night on that debate stage?
Well, I mean, I think that the talking points they had are right in a sense. I mean, there's a bit of grandstanding because I don't think once you've let the kind of horse out of the corral and you've decided to leave a place and all these other groups are rushing in, I actually don't see them, if they were in charge, actually necessarily going in there and doing much. I think there are certainly questions to be asked about what happened on October 6th and why the decision in this case wasn't laid out 6 months ago, in which the U.S. could, work with Turkey or talk to the Assad regime, or even and tell the Kurds and be straight with them. Listen, we fought together, but at some point, the U.S. has decided to leave. So I think it would have been better had this whole thing been managed a lot better.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's an easy talking point in terms of on that stage last night saying, okay, well, we'll ride back in and we'll defend the Kurds.
Yeah, but things have changed since we've pulled out. And who are the Kurds turning to for help? Or are they just getting slaughtered?
They've been bombarded with airstrikes by Turkey. Mm-hmm. And so they said, if we have to choose between being slaughtered and genocide and have to choose between that and the Assad regime, which is the devil that we know in terms of the former regime, so we'll sign some sort of a deal with them which will create some sort of a buffer in which the airstrikes will stop and the Turkish invasion will stop. So that's kind of the hard place that they were put in. We have to remember this is a really big area. I think the area in eastern Syria is almost the size of the Kingdom of Jordan. It's about the size of West Virginia or something like that, or New Jersey. So, this is a very big piece of landscape that the United States, with just 1,000 soldiers and about 100,000 Kurds that had been trained, Kurds and Arabs, was actually able to maintain a lot of influence over.
I certainly agree with you about how this could have been managed better and then communicated better when the decision was made. There's no question about that in my mind. But in terms of the explanation that has been given over the last several days by Secretary of Defense Esper as well as Senator Rand Paul, that one of the issues that changed the circumstances that led to this decision is Erdogan saying, we're coming in whether your troops are staying or not. And the concern that, of course, 15,000 Kurdish or something on that order, Kurdish troops were going to easily overrun 50 to 100 American Special Forces.
Right, but I don't know. I look back to American history. I certainly think that over the last 30 years, when it was George W. Bush or George H.W. Bush or even back to Ronald Reagan, I think in the end of the day, there's a lot of countries that not so long ago would never dare to lay a finger on the U.S. Special Forces. So the fact that Turkey, which is ostensibly a quote-unquote NATO ally, was willing to threaten the United States, I don't think that our allies should ever be threatening us. So, these are Kurdish fighters and also Arabs that signed on and trained with the U.S. and helped to defeat ISIS. So I think if we're going to ask a guy to help us fight ISIS and we're going to train him and give him a rifle and we're going to fight side by side in a trench with him, then when someone else comes along and says, okay, tomorrow I'm going to bomb him, the United States, as a great power, should be able to say, well, no, that's not going to happen. So we need to find a way that other countries, whether it's Turkey or Iran, with Iran, they are not able to put us in this vice of saying that, well, if you don't do this, there's going to be war. I think maybe the United States needs to have an internal conversation about how we deal with that and whether or not we end up, therefore, saying that these countries are countries we can deal with or be allies with.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but here's the thing, and I'm not defending this policy or this history, I'm just describing it. These alliances of convenience where we hopscotch around depending on the geopolitics and the political expedient desires of the moment. Rand Paul, again, made this point. Why we'll never have a vote in the Senate to authorize the use of force is because we don't know who to declare war on. The Syrian Defense Forces were our allies for 7 years. Turkey's a NATO ally. Obviously, the Kurds. So it's real complicated by the complicated choices that have been made by American presidents and presidential administrations over the years. And we see this play out routinely, in particular in the Middle East, but not limited there, Latin America and Central America as well. But you could use the classic case of Saddam Hussein being a former ally until he wasn't in the Iraq-Iran war. So it seems like we play this out, and it's not so particular to this administration.
I think that's right. Look, if we go back to the Saddam Hussein example in 1990, 91, there was something I think called the Bush Doctrine or Powell Doctrine, which is, we need to fight a war, but we need to know exactly what we're trying to do here. So I think, it's about explaining what are we doing, why are we doing it, and when we get into these conflicts, deciding exactly what the U.S. is doing and explaining that to ourselves. So I think that's one aspect. And I think, also being transparent and clear with people that we're working with and saying, okay, listen, in 6 months or a year, we're going to leave. And I'll give you an example with groups that the United States is hostile to. For instance, Hezbollah, which we view as a terrorist organization. When Israel fought a war with Hezbollah in 2006, the U.S. played a role to create a ceasefire. So if the U.S. is able to create ceasefires between its own allies, like Israel, and groups that it hates, like Hezbollah, then I would think it could create a ceasefire between a group that it's a partner with and an ally. So the United States should be, as a global player, able to do that. And I think historically we've been able to do that. So that's the kind of thing that we need to be thinking about as well.
Sure, and that's sort of an underappreciated aspect of this situation between the Turks and the Kurds, too. It's similar to Hezbollah and Israel. You know, these animosities date back 100+ years. I mean, so there's a lot of history there that we're sort of interceding into, and it's complicated because there's not necessarily always a desire for a ceasefire or for détente. And Walter Russell Mead in the Journal had a point about this too, about the limits of U.S. power in the region. He made mention of the protests that are currently shaking Iraq. The U.S. may be the paramount power in the region, writes Mead, but nobody has a solution to the developmental and political crisis that continues to destabilize too many countries across the Middle East.
No, that's exactly right. So the thing is, in Iraq, for instance, what you have Iranian-backed Shia militias that are involved in killing some of these protesters. But in Iraq, we also have a region of Iraq. It also happens to be Kurdish in the northern part of Iraq, which is a U.S. partner and ally in which we have been training people. So you have examples where you say, okay, we'll partner with the part of this country that we want to work with, and we'll try to reduce the influence of other parts. I guess the United States has to have a conversation 30 years after the Berlin Wall fell as to what our role in the world is today, because I think if we remember, I think George Bush Sr. said, there's a new world order. The United States is going to play a kind of role as, global policeman. It's clear that today, I think the American people are not in a place where they want to do that. So I think we need to have a national security policy in which a president reflects on that and decides where do we want to play a role, what parts of the world, is it against China with trade war, or do we not want to do that? Where does America want to do things like this?
Well, who's responsible and who's in charge of the 11,000 ISIS prisoners now that the Kurds have left? Well, because that's what a lot of people are concerned about. Are we going to, obviously, is this the rebirth of ISIS?
Well, look, that's another key part of this campaign, which I think we need to look back at, which is, the anti-ISIS war had 80 partners, of which most of them are countries. So how is it that 70 countries or so signed on to fight ISIS, but none of them seem to actually be willing to take a role in terms of dealing with these detainees? Why is it that actually the SDF, which the U.S. was working with, this mostly Kurdish group, was asked to detain all these people and pay for them when there's no money there? Why is it that all these countries that ISIS fighters came from, for instance, 5,000 of them came from Europe, how come none of those countries were willing to do more than just pay lip service? And I think we need to have a real conversation a year ago about, how are we going to manage all these people and whose responsibility is it? It seems to me everyone just wants to say, well, it's not our responsibility, which isn't that how ISIS rose in the first place, because a whole bunch of people said, well, it's not my problem that all these people are becoming radicalized and all of them are going to Syria to fight.
Yeah, it's a interesting point, and it sort of runs headlong into the domestic political climates in the West too, which are over the last couple of years have been increasingly populist and thus increasingly non-interventionist.
Right. So the thing is, if you want to have populist politics, there's nothing wrong with that. The question is, in terms of the ISIS fighter thing, if you have thousands of your citizens who are booking tickets to go fight in a foreign conflict, and then all of a sudden all those people get arrested somewhere, and you say, well, we don't really want to deal with them. I mean, these are your citizens. If they're American citizens, we need to make sure that none of our citizens are joining ISIS, and if they do, they need to face harsh prison sentences, just like we had that guy, John Walker Lindh, remember, that was captured in Afghanistan? I mean, that guy got, 20, 30 years, I think. So, we need to make sure that we have the resources at home in the justice system to prosecute these people. And I think we need to make sure that our quote-unquote European allies are doing the same thing. And I think there's evidence. For instance, France and the UK had special forces in eastern Syria. What are France and the UK doing? I don't see them stepping up to say, okay, we'll help to maintain some of these ISIS facilities or something like that.
Yeah, it's these precedential decisions. Speaking of John Walker Lindh, and then on the flip side, you have Bo Bergdahl. Seth Frantzman, he's an op-ed editor and Middle East affairs analyst at the Jerusalem Post. His book, After ISIS, America, Iran, and the Struggle for the Middle East. Seth, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. GM CEO joins contract talks, a possible sign the strike could be near an end. Aldi is cutting into bigger grocery chains and a tight market for small business hiring. Those stories next.
With the stock market at all-time highs, cash in your profits now and invest in an asset that can potentially pay for up to 20 or more years. That's the sound of a producing oil well and the sound of a smart investment. If you're an SEC-defined accredited investor, you can take advantage of Encore Energy's projects. Call now to learn how you can potentially achieve 20 or more years of income and deduct 100% of every dollar invested against all forms of income. Call 1-800-387-3240. Invest in your future and buy oil. Encore is drilling in an area that is potentially one of the most prolific horizontal oil plays in the entire country. Oil prices are projected to rise, so you need to own a piece of an oil field. Encore Energy is the most active oil and gas operator in its core area of operations. Call now and learn how to deduct 100% of your investment and create 20 or more years of potential monthly income. Call 1-800-387-3240. You will be calling directly to the home office of Encore Energy. That's 1-800-387-3240. Oil investments involve a high degree of risk and actual results may vary.
GM CEO Mary Barra sat down at the negotiating table in Detroit trying to hammer out an end to the costly strike. Her appearance considered a strong sign the month-long strike may be about to break. The UAW has called all of its factory-level leaders to a meeting tomorrow in Detroit. Finding qualified workers remains the top issue for small business, according to a survey by the National Federation of Independent Business. And German-owned discount chain Aldi is quietly capturing a larger share of the grocery business. Recent projections show Aldi and competitor Trader Joe's will grow 5% this year, while traditional supermarkets will rise 0.5%. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
You've heard Rumpke's Garage commercials on AM 560, and now they specialize in servicing Sprinters and light-duty diesels. But the experts at Rumpke's also service Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. So if you own an Isuzu or Chevy low-cab forward truck but aren't sure where to get it repaired, take it to Rumpke's Garage, your #1 dealer alternative for repairs to your Isuzu NPR, Isuzu F-Series, or Chevy low-cab forward truck. Whether gas or diesel, your truck is the lifeline of your business. That's why Rumpke's Garage offers free loaners while your truck is being serviced. They'll even pick up and deliver for your convenience. Rumpke's Garage has the factory scan tool to properly diagnose Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty. Go to Rumpke'sGarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks and schedule your appointment today. That's Rumpke's, REMKES, Garage.com.
I'm Gary Rabine of the Rabine Group and the podcast Ditch Digger CEO. One of my favorite things to do is golf at our exclusive Bull Valley Golf Club in Woodstock. Just 55 minutes northwest of O'Hare and 35 minutes south of Lake Geneva. 5 minutes from the Metro line. 250 acres of amazing terrain, oak and red pine forest, native prairie and marsh. It feels like you played 4 different courses in 18 holes. Golf Digest rated Bull Valley the 30th most challenging championship-style golf course in America. One of the best courses in Illinois, and the track the best golfers want to play. Good golfers, Bull Valley will make you great. Bad golfers like me, Bull Valley will make you better. A world-class staff and 2 amazing teaching pros, simulators, and a beautiful instructional range. I've got the greatest offer on the planet in private championship golf. If you live in or near Chicago, join our Chicago membership in the next 10 days and get 18 months for $2,500. You heard it, $2,500 to be a member until April 2021. Email Gary at BullValleyGolfClub.com and play championship golf tomorrow. That's Gary at BullValleyGolfClub.com.
Listen up, Chicago area. Are you interested in making active and passive income each month flipping real estate tax liens? Then listen to this. The ProSource Tax Lien Company is offering a free tax lien flip kit, which contains educational videos and a step-by-step report that will show you how to earn government-regulated returns up to 18% that are secured by real estate. Plus, see how you can access tax lien inventory not available to the public. So, if you want to become a real estate investor without swinging a hammer or being a landlord, then text Chicago to 31,000 now to get your free tax lien flip kit and get ready to learn how to flip tax liens and acquire houses well below wholesale prices with great profit potential, all from home working part-time. Text Chicago to 31,000 right now to get your free tax lien investor kit, plus 2 free tickets to a live training event, which includes a free smartwatch just for attending. Text Chicago to 31,000. That's Chicago to 31,000 for your free tax lien kit now. Individual results may vary.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
The president reacts to the debate. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and here's the Trump tweet. You would think there is no way any of the Democratic candidates could possibly become president. They ganged up on him last night.
We have to impeach this president. It is absolutely imperative we go forward with impeachment.
That was Julian Castro and Bernie Sanders. Joe Biden, after saying he and his son did nothing wrong in Ukraine, added,
"He's going after me because he knows if I get the nomination, I will beat him like a drum."
Another candidate was also a target. Fox's Jared Halpern was there, now live in Westerville, Ohio.
It was Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren who drew much of the attention here at the CNN New York Times debate.
I will outwork, outorganize, and outlast anyone.
Other candidates' attacks on Warren's Medicare for All and wealth tax proposals show she is now viewed as a front-runner, along with former Vice President Joe Biden.
I think it's good that there are some real challenges being laid against other candidates' proposals.
Biden supporter, Delaware Senator Chris Coons, after the debate, Biden campaign officials say they always expected this race to be long. Dave.
Jared, President Trump will meet with congressional leaders today, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who again says about the impeachment inquiry.
There's no requirement that we have a vote.
House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy just told Fox.
You know, in America, you're innocent until proven guilty, until you let the Democrats become in charge.
Now, Vice President Pence will go to Turkey today, trying to stop a military offensive against Kurdish fighters in Syria who had been U.S. allies. But Turkish President Erdogan told Sky he won't talk to Pence about a ceasefire. Instead, he will only talk to President Trump. It got emotional last night at Fort Worth, Texas City Council meeting.
We don't feel safe! We don't feel safe!
An angry crowd saying they don't feel safe days after a white police officer shot and killed a black woman through the window of her home. As he was responding to a call, Aaron Dean has since quit and been charged with murder. America's listening to Fox News.
43 degrees at 7:02 AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour from the north-northwest, prompting a lakeshore flood advisory through 9 p.m. this evening. Chicago Teachers Union a step closer to going on strike tomorrow.
We have not achieved enough of these negotiations to say that we are done fighting. We need more.
CTU's Jesse Sharkey. CPS is prepared for the possibility of a strike in the event of a work stoppage. School buildings will be open during their normal bell schedules. Students are actually encouraged to attend their regular school. CPS schools will also serve meals. The search is underway this morning to find a Matson man who went missing from Blue Island and may be in danger. Authorities say Victor Medina was last seen Monday, arriving at a doctor's appointment, but he left without seeing his doctor. The woman known as the serial stowaway will remain in jail following another arrest at O'Hare last week. Marilyn Hartman was ordered held without bail yesterday for violating her probation. Bulls finish up the preseason tomorrow night at home against the Hawks. Blackhawks hosting the Blue Jackets on Friday night. Nationals headed to the World Series after a win over the Cardinals and a sweep of the NLCS. Garrett Cole looked unhittable for a time as the Astros beat the Yankees 4-1 in Game 3 of the ALCS. The news service of Staples. Staples gives your business more for less. At Staples, you'll find the latest tech to help you work smarter, not harder. And right now, save up to $200 on select printers. Staples, for your business printing and beyond. Ends 11/2/19 while supplies last. Exclusions apply. 7:03 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Tickets for Freedom Summit 2019 sold out in record time in response to the high demand. We've opened up an overflow room for attendees to watch the event on Saturday, November 2nd at the Westin Chicago Northwest. Overflow tickets are on sale now, but are selling fast. Get yours at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Woodland Windows and Doors, Automated Systems Incorporated, Joe Cotton Ford, HealthInsuranceMentors.com, and by Crown Weedy Roofing.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
Sup?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. See Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
At Panera, get breakfast that's fast, not fast food. Try a new Chipotle chicken scrambled egg and avocado breakfast wrap and pair it with a premium freshly ground, freshly brewed coffee. All ready to go with the push of a button. Panera, food as it should be.
7:06 AM 560 traffic center time, and Jim Talamonte.
The Stevenson Expressway outbound is a mess this morning with a crash at Harlem on the left shoulder. It is an hour and 7 minutes from Lakeshore Drive to 355. Inbound, it's a full hour and 44 minutes from the Tri-State. Eden's 29 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 20. Kennedy, 34 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 36 minutes, crash at Irving Park. Eisenhower's 57 minutes, 390 to downtown, 36 from Manheim, outbound 52 minutes to 390. Ryan, 25 minutes from 95th, I-57, 37 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford, 57. Northbound Tri-State's bottled up. Bishop Ford to Chicago Road with a crash in the left lane. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center forecast with meteorologist Steve Williams.
Partly sunny, windy, and cool today. The high 52. Partly cloudy, breezy, chilly tonight, low 36. For tomorrow and Friday, partly sunny. The high tomorrow 55. The high on Friday at 60. Showers on Saturday. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
45 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Joe Biden yesterday at the Democrat-Socialist debate did his best impersonation of Kipling with his My Boy Hunter defense. How dare you, sir? How dare you talk about My Boy Hunter?
Well, somebody had to bring it up, and the candidates weren't, so Anderson Cooper did.
This president, Mr. Vice President, President Trump has falsely accused your son of doing something wrong while serving on a company board in Ukraine. I want to point out there's no evidence of wrongdoing by either one of you. Having said that, on Sunday, you announced that if you're president, no one in your family or associated with you will be involved in any foreign businesses. My question is, if it's not okay for a president's family to be involved in foreign businesses, why was it okay for your son when you were vice president? Vice President Biden?
Look, my son did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. I carried out the policy of the United States government in rooting out corruption in Ukraine. And that's what we should be focusing on. And what I wanted to make a point about, and my son's statement speaks for itself. He spoke about it today. My son's statement speaks for itself. What I think is important is we focus on why it's so important to remove this man from office. On the 17th, look, the fact that George Washington worried on the first time he spoke after being elected president that what we had to worry about is foreign interference in our elections. It was the greatest threat to America. This president on three occasions, has invited foreign governments and heads of government to get engaged in trying to alter our elections. The fact is that it is outrageous. Rudy Giuliani, the president, and his thugs have already proven that they, in fact, are flat lying.
And Biden went on, have you news of my boy Hunter? Not this tide. When do you think that he'll come back? Not with this wind blowing in this tide.
Oh. And then they sang a song.
Joe, yeah, courtship of Hunter's father. Sure. So Joe Biden also said something that continues to not be true, just as the other times he said it, which is that he never discussed anything related to his son's business dealings with his son Hunter. But Hunter's already disclosed that they did have a conversation about Burisma, and he repeated that disclosure on that ABC interview he gave yesterday morning. But I mean, I understand there's nothing to see here. Also, one other point.
Right.
He never answered Anderson Cooper's question.
No, he never did.
If it's wrong for a president, why isn't it wrong for a vice president?
Yep.
Maybe David Harsanyi can help him. David Harsanyi, senior editor for TheFederalist.com, author of First Freedom, A Ride Through America's Enduring History with the Gun from the Revolution to Today. I would also suggest, David, you get a copy of your book, First Freedom, over to Bobby O and Mannequin Pete post haste. David, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So, what about that? How do we reconcile the standards for a president versus the standards for a vice president when it comes to ethical conduct?
Well, can I just mention quickly that Anderson Cooper's question, it was crazy. I've never in my life seen someone set up a question by basically answering half of it for the candidate, saying,
yes,
obviously there's nothing wrong with what you did, you or your son, you're completely innocent, but, you know, this is something everyone's talking about, I need to mention it. So that's basically what the question was.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
How does he know there was nothing wrong with it? Has CNN investigated what went on there? He doesn't know.
They've been beating that same drum since, this whole thing began. There's no evidence of any wrongdoing.
There's nothing Anderson Cooper doesn't know. That's what you do. You have to start from that premise, and then everything falls into line. Yeah, it is worth pointing out that a member of the Ukrainian parliament wrote this op-ed in the Wall Street Journal this week saying there should be an investigation of this and some other things with respect to the 2016 election and Ukrainian involvement. Sort of indicating that, right, this hasn't been debunked or bunked because it's never been investigated by the Ukrainians.
Right, so it would be fair to ask him the question, say there's, just ask him the question and let him claim, claim that he's innocent rather than claiming that he's innocent for him. It was just such bias. It's almost, it's getting to the point where I can't even watch it anymore. It's just so annoying. But anyway,
yeah.
Your question, is that it is wrong. It's clearly wrong that that Biden was not just on the Ukrainian board, but on the Chinese board, on the Amtrak board. He made a lot of money in this world because of access, and that was because of his dad's name. There's nothing wrong in trying to investigate whether his father ever tried to, and I'm not saying he did, but there's nothing wrong with investigating whether his father tried to steer policy in any certain direction to help his son. And it's not outrageous to think that he might have. Joe Biden's not a saint, and he has never been a saint.
Well, who do you think were if there was a winner last night, or has anything changed? Do you think in regards to candidates' positions, besides we know who's not going to be back is Tom Steyer.
You don't know that.
Oh.
Yeah. He could buy his way in, maybe. I don't know. I would say that I didn't really think there were any winners. I thought it was a really boring debate, and I thought that these candidates are not grade A top-level candidates, and none of them are. And I think Joe Biden, just his answer to that question, he was all over the place, looking for the talking points he was given about Trump, trying to deliver them. Elizabeth Warren, I don't think, reacted very well to being a front runner. She seemed sort of, as a moderates attacked her. I think she seems even more radical. And so I don't know. It seems like a pretty big mess to me. It seems like Donald Trump would be this kind of candidate that many people would be waiting to knock off, and you get some sort of grade A candidates. But I don't think you have that.
Our colleague here at Salem, Hugh Hewitt, has suggested that after witnessing last night and the previous debates, one of the things that Trump should do is not start from the premise that there will be any debates whatsoever, even if they'd be advantageous. And I think it's in part because of, for example, what you just described Anderson Cooper doing with that question about Hunter Biden. In addition to that, there's also no homework done, or at least they're not showing their work, if there was homework done, to push back on each candidate with respect to their answers. So when, for example, let me give you an example, get your reaction to this. Kamala Harris, I know a confession when I hear one or see one. Oh, do you? Well, you're the same Kamala Harris who, when you were San Francisco District Attorney from 2004 to 2011, withheld information about a police laboratory tech who'd been accused of intentionally sabotaging her work and stealing drugs from the lab that ultimately resulted in more than 600 cases handled by the corrupt tech being dismissed. In addition to, and I could go into chapter and verse on her record when it comes to wrongful convictions. So square that for us, since you're touting your credential as a prosecutor and somebody who knows a confession when she sees one and is concerned with due process and all those things. But there's none of that. There's just basically, it's your turn to issue some Jeremiah on whatever topic we're talking about. So why should Trump even participate in that? Who could he get a fair airing from in terms of moderators for a debate, with perhaps the exception of Fox?
I think it's a fair point. I do think it's a little bit different when you have one party debating and you have a lot of people debating. It's difficult probably for the moderator to push back on everything. Though clearly people were lying yesterday and there was no pushback, and it happened constantly. So it is a problem, and Trump won't get a fair shake. I haven't really thought very deeply about whether it's advantageous for him to debate. I think it might be, because I think there were debates I saw during the 2016 primaries where it, people learned more about him and liked, sort of his attitude and what he was doing. So for him, as much fact-based as it is, an attitude that people like.
Who didn't speak a ton or didn't get a lot of airtime was Bernie Sanders. Do you think he did a good job trying not to look old and feeble out there? I mean, he had dandruff on his suit. I mean, it was just...
He is old and feeble, and that's fine. We're all going to become old and feeble. I can't believe a guy's still running for president after having a heart attack. I can't believe that the American people would vote for someone who just had a heart attack, who's at that age running for president. And I can't believe anyone would, worse than all of that, I can't believe anyone would vote for a socialist. But, I would say that Elizabeth Warren's pretty close. Maybe her methods are different, but the end game is the same. So,
but Bernie's got the support of the young girls. I mean, AOC, Squad, all of them, the Squad, the Spice Girls are going to be promoting or endorsing him and hitting the campaign trail with him. Bernie and the Spice Girls.
I saw someone make a joke that it was weird that the Squad would support an old white man rather than someone of color like themselves, as Elizabeth Warren is. But I don't know. I mean, they're
Elizabeth
socialists.
Warren is. Yeah.
But I think that, they're socialists, and he's a socialist, and that's where they feel comfortable. So they're just being honest. I don't see him winning this. I think you see him fading away. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't even, if he wasn't around in a few weeks. But that's just me speculating. I have nothing to back that up. But it just seems to me is weak.
Just in terms of setting the ethical tone, though, for the Bernie Sanders administration, do you think, like Joe Biden, he should make a declaration that his wife Jane will not run any colleges or universities if he's president?
I think he should. I think I wish someone would ask him, and I don't think they ever have. What kind of socialist has 3 homes? How many homes do we need? How many homes does an American need?
Yeah.
But no one ever asks him any of those questions.
Who should 1 or 2 of your homes be redistributed to?
Yes. I would like 3 homes. I don't have 3 homes.
You're talking about Bernie possibly fading, and that certainly does seem to be the feel of things. But so that leaves sort of an open third track with Warren and Biden. I mean, could you actually have the mayor of South Bend, this mannequin from the men's department at the Macy's from Mishawaka, be a serious contender for the nomination?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think there's enough charisma there or enough name recognition there for that to happen. There's not enough time for that to happen, probably. I still am not convinced that it won't be Biden, and it seems to be that it's Biden and Warren to me. Unless someone else jumped into the race or something happened that raised one person above it. I thought it would be Kamala who was that third person, but it didn't work out, and I just don't. You don't see that much movement in the polls, and I just don't see why all of a sudden Mayor Pete would, all of a sudden, I don't know where he is, tied for 8th or whatever he is, or maybe he's above that, take votes. But people start falling out. Maybe usually those votes don't go to one person, or that support doesn't go to one person. It goes through, it's not the way you always expect it. Yeah. So I don't see that there's enough there for him either in that regard.
And Tulsi Gabbard, what do you think?
She's an impressive person in many ways, but she says things I think that about foreign policy specifically that I think she there are certain kinds of people who like her, and maybe a bunch of Bernie voters would like her, but I don't think the support's there in general.
Were you surprised at all by some of the notes of caution that were struck by a number of candidates about impeachment? I mean, there was certainly sort of the vociferous, who is most for removing Trump from office during that 20 minutes of coverage of impeachment. But Booker, even Bernie, along with Tulsi Gabbard, suggested, we can't make this all about impeachment and removing the president.
Well, it makes me think that it's not as clear cut the support for impeachment as the media wants us to think it is. I think that also because Nancy Pelosi is unwilling to take a House vote on the issue. Maybe there are other reasons there, but I just don't. I think there are moderate districts or moderate candidates in swing districts who are a little bit cautious about that. You heard that. Whenever they say all the evidence is in plain sight, it means that there actually isn't enough evidence, and that you have to just, there's nothing behind the scenes. There's no more. Everything you see is what you get. I think a lot of voters expect that there's going to be more evidence coming forward of Trump wrongdoing, but I'm not, in this regard. But I'm not sure that that's true. I think that the caution is well warranted. I don't think people are going to like what happens when impeachment actually moves forward, and I think some of them foresee that.
He is David Harsanyi, senior editor for TheFederalist.com, author of the book First Freedom, A Ride Through America's Enduring History with the Gun, From the Revolution to Today. And again, David, make sure you get a signed copy over to Bobby O'Rourke.
I will, for sure.
Yeah, David, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. If you run a small business, every penny counts. So saving up to 30% on your workers' comp insurance is a big deal. That's why you need a workers' comp rate check from Pi Insurance, now available for small business owners in your area. Workers' comp insurance rates can vary, and yours may have changed since you got your current policy. That's why Pi Insurance invites you to get a quick online quote right from your computer or smartphone. Simply go to piinsurance.com and you'll know in just minutes if you're overpaying. Pi Insurance was built a better way, to make workers' comp a no-brainer with an easy online experience and outstanding service. Pi's coverage is A-rated by AM Best and helps protect your business and your employees. Plus, it could save you up to 30%. Do yourself a favor. Find out if your small business is overpaying for workers' comp insurance. Check out your rate today and see how much you can save at piinsurance.com. That's pieinsurance.com.
Interested in refinancing your home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender, not your bank or online lender. Meet Lucy. She's a widow. She talked to her bank and an online lender about cashing out $30,000 to pay off debt and renovate her bathroom. Now, both recommended Lucy refinance out of her rate in the mid-3s into a rate in the high 4s. Then Lucy called Team Hochberg, who analyzed her situation and recommended she secure a HELOC loan instead of refinancing because it was in her financial best interest. Let's review. Lucy's bank and an online lender recommended she refinance so they can make a quick buck. Team Hochberg recommended Lucy secure a bank HELOC because that was Lucy's best option. Now, if you want to work with a trusted local lender who looks out for your financial best interests, call Team Hochberg now, 855-56-DAVID, or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call. 855-56-DAVID, or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MB 6761019. NMLS 1124061.
Property managers, manufacturing, commercial, privately and locally owned companies looking for accountability from their alarm service provider. This message is for you.
Out-of-town national companies are struggling to provide service and support for your security and fire alarm system. You can do better with SMG Security. SMG Security is a local security service and fire alarm system provider with a mission to be the security industry leader in performance and customer satisfaction for the Chicagoland area. Concentration on local protection with a local UL central monitoring system delivers the ultimate protection for you, your employees, and property from theft, fire, and workplace violence. In many cases, SMG can detect issues before they become a major problem and are continually establishing new and improved industry standards and technology to keep your business safe and secure. Get a security solution based on your business budget and needs from SMG Security. And if you switch protection to SMG before the end of the month, you'll get 3 months of free service. Go to smgsecurity.com. smgsecurity.com.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
And Balance of Nature for my energy and everything, it does make it much easier for me. I love it. I tell everybody about it. And I love when they have the shows when the doctor speaks and all. So it really, it lifts your spirits too, knowing that there's somebody out there that really wants to help you and has come up with something this good. So I'm happy.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Balance of Nature is now offering a 35% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This offer may end at any time, so don't wait to start Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Do you want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I hear story after story of homeowners who say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet when it rains, and you should feel the same way about your basement. Just call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call. 800-421-SEAL. Permaseal has earned an A+ rating from the BBB and has received their 2016 Torch Award for Marketplace Ethics. That's 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Your best for being better, Permaseal.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, hey, listen up, Western Suburbs. Congressman Sean Casten. Remarkable. This guy in public office is as remarkable as any unhinged, radical Marxist in office in this country, that he would represent the Western Suburbs of Chicagoland, a district held by Henry Hyde and Peter Roskam. Remarkable. A remarkable indictment of both political parties in this state.
It was the anti-Trump vote. People didn't think.
Yep, full stop.
I know.
Exactly. Sean Casten, a series of town halls recently, one in Glendale Heights. He's asked a question by a gentleman about Ilhan Omar. that he ignored when the gentleman asked him the same question about Ilhan Omar's anti-Semitic remarks some half a year ago. The gentleman who asked him a question properly characterized Omar as an anti-Semite and said, "So let's hear from you, Kasten." Kasten called the House resolution condemning all forms of hatred in response to Omar's anti-Semitism. He called that the single hardest vote he's ever had to take.
What?
Then he went on to call Representative Dan Crenshaw from Texas.
Yeah, the one with the patch.
Eye patch guy, serviceman, Navy SEAL.
Yeah, he was featured on Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
He called him a racist.
Why?
Because Crenshaw introduced a rider to that resolution precluding illegal immigrants from voting. Listen up.
Ilhan Omar is an anti-Semite. Your response makes me believe that you're at least okay with her comments, if not in agreement. So will you at least repudiate her and her fellows anti-Semites in Congress?
Dan Crenshaw, the new Republican in the Navy SEAL with the eye patch. Last amendment that came up was an amendment to say we're going to add a rider on this bill that says that illegals can't vote. And I sat there and I said, you know what? You're not allowed to vote if you're not a citizen. That's already out there. Why are you doing that? The reason you're doing that is because you are a racist. Because you are trying to appeal to people who will vote for you if you stand up and oppose brown people.
The reason you're doing that, he said to Dan Crenshaw in absentia, is because you're a racist, because you're trying to appeal to people who will vote for you if you stand up and oppose brown people. Hey, Sean, you in the market for some new constituents? Because here's the thing. The reason that Dan Crenshaw introduced that rider is because of the policies you and your friends support. Open borders. You'll note that all the Democrat socialists raise their hands when it comes to conferring benefits that have historically been only available to American citizens to people here illegally, like health care. You'll note that you have the Socialist Spice Girls plus every presidential candidate talking about, on your side, talking about decriminalizing coming here illegally. So if it's not illegal to come here, then why would it be illegal to vote? And if there's no difference between citizenship and non-citizenship when it comes to access to state benefits, then what's the difference between being a citizen and being a non-citizen? There is no difference. Maybe that's why Dan Crenshaw introduced it. And maybe that's why you in the western suburbs should wake up out of your slumber. For goodness sakes, this guy, he is as shrill and hysterical as AOC. It's just nobody knows it because, of course, the Chicago Press Corps is asleep at the switch. They're not going to cover it. He is, at this one time, condemning hate the hardest vote he's had to take, because he doesn't want to condemn people who hate in the direction of conservatives or Christians. That's number one. Then it's Dan Crenshaw's a racist because he is restating the position that people in this country here illegally shouldn't be able to vote, which is a position challenged by his party at every level. That is the congressman representing the western suburbs of Chicagoland. That's the commentary on how far afield the state of Illinois is. That's the commentary on how Illinois became the worst governed state in American history, with the worst, most corrupt, ignorant political class in American history. And that's saying something in these times.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Stephen Moore will be here later, just in time for Halloween. John Wayne Gacy's house goes up for sale. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
44 degrees, a lakeshore flood advisory up until 9 this evening because of gusty winds. Chicago Teachers Union one step closer to going on strike tomorrow. No a tentative deal after long negotiations yesterday. CPS preparing for a strike in the event of a stoppage. Students who need a place to go are encouraged to attend their regular school during normal bell schedules. Meals will also be served. There will be new developments in the next hour involving Vice President Mike Pence and Secretary Mike Pompeo's trip to Turkey to meet with Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan. Pence and Pompeo were scheduled to leave later today to discuss the situation in Syria, but Erdogan has just told Sky News he will not talk to Pence or Pompeo. He said he will only talk to President Trump when he comes to Turkey. Democrat presidential candidates targeting gun violence in last night's debate. Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, California Senator Kamala Harris say they both support a voluntary gun buyback program.
I have looked at more autopsy photographs than I care to tell you. I have attended more police officer funerals than I care to tell you. I'm done. And we need action. And Congress has had years to act and failed because they do not have the courage.
Former Housing Secretary Julian Castro says police violence, he believes, is also gun violence, and that needs to be addressed. Actress Felicity Huffman spending the next 2 weeks in a California prison for her role in the college cheating scandal. She turned herself in yesterday to the Federal Correctional Institution east of San Francisco. Here in the Chicago area, the search is underway this morning to find a Matson man who went missing from Blue Island and may be in danger. Victor Medina was last seen Monday. He has autism and attention deficit disorder. Cubs president Theo Epstein facing a lawsuit by owners of an Arizona home he rented during the 2015 spring training system. The suit was filed last week, claiming Epstein's dogs left terrible odors and urine-stained carpeting that resulted in $51,000 in repairs at the Paradise Valley, Arizona home. Epstein denies the allegations and says the stains were there when they moved in. The news service of Panera Bread. At Panera, get breakfast that's fast, not fast food. Try a new Chipotle chicken, scrambled egg, and avocado breakfast wrap and pair it with a premium, freshly ground, freshly brewed coffee, all ready to go with the push of a button. Panera, food as it should be. 7:36 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees another scam from the Democrats.
I got an idea. Vote on impeachment. Get it underway. Vote. And without a vote, nobody from the White House, the State Department, or the Trump administration should be testifying before this kangaroo court. The president is right. It's a scam.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
If you're age 59 and a half or older with a 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Wealth Management Group today at 833-WMG-PLAN. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can help save you thousands in 401k fees and potentially reduce your risk of a market correction. You've worked and saved, and now is the time to manage your retirement savings. Call Craig Bolanos of Wealth Management Group today at 833-WMG-PLAN. Securities and financial planning offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
And balance of nature for my energy and everything, it does make it much easier for me. I love it. I really, I tell everybody about it. And I love when they have the shows when the doctor speaks and all. So it really, it lifts your spirits too, knowing that there's somebody out there that really wants to help you and has come up with something this good. So I'm happy.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Balance of Nature is now offering a 35% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This offer may end at any time, so don't wait to start Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
7:39 AM 560 traffic center time. Jim Talamonte.
Traffic on westbound 8094. The northbound tri-state is heavy from Torrance to Chicago Road with a crash in the left lane. Farther north, tri-state's clogged up from Southwest Highway to Ogden and from the Reagan toward Lawrence. Southbound delays are Atkinson to Deerfield Road. Northbound Veterans Memorial delays are International Parkway to St. Charles and Army Trail to 290. Eden's 29 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Kennedy, 50 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. No savings in the Express. Eisenhower, 57 minutes, 390 to downtown. 41 from Manheim. Stevenson, an hour, 355 to the drive. How about an hour and 8 minutes with a wreck before Harlem? Bishop Ford of Mass, 56 minutes, 8094 to the merge. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Windy and cooler today. Intervals of clouds and sunshine, high 52. Northwest winds gusting at 22 right now, 44 at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so last night's Politburo Executive Committee meeting, according to the minutes, everyone tried to get Elizabeth Warren to finally fess up to the fact that she's going to increase taxes on middle-income Americans to pay for Medicare for all. You just can't get her to do it.
You have not specified how you're going to pay for the most expensive plan, Medicare for all. Will you raise taxes on the middle class to pay for it, yes or no?
So I have made clear what my principles are here, and that is costs will go up for the wealthy and for big corporations, and for hardworking middle-class families, costs will go down.
A yes or no question that didn't get a yes or no answer. Look, this is why people here in the Midwest are so frustrated with Washington in general and Capitol Hill in particular. Your signature, Senator, is to have a plan for everything, except this.
Yeah, Mayor Pete stuck it to her.
So just so you understand her position, she's going to increase taxes on middle-income families,
right,
and your costs are going to go down. For discussion of that magical thinking and so much other magical economic thinking on display last night, we're pleased to be joined again by Steve Moore, economist and Wall Street Journal columnist, author of the book Trumponomics, Inside the America First Plan to Revive Our Economy. Steve, thanks for being with us.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Well, I have to confess I did not watch much of the debate last because I was watching that Washington Nationals do something the Cubs didn't do, which was beat the Cubs to go to.
Oh, you're breaking up.
Yeah. Yes, congratulations
Yes,
to your Washington Reagans on their pennant. Congratulations, yes. Steve, you there? Hello,
Hey,
Steve.
The Cardinals.
Okay. Steve, responding to Elizabeth Warren and the whole matter, why is Bernie Sanders so willing to say, hey, look, yeah, we're going to increase taxes on people making more than $29,000. Everybody making more than $20,000 is going to see their taxes go up. But our big government plan is going to actually reduce the cost, and that's how it's going to work. Why can't his socialist cohort, Elizabeth Warren, just cop to that?
So at least Bernie, honest. You know, we're going to have a government-run health system, and everybody. It's going to be wonderful. Now that part isn't honest. One of the big structural.
Steve, we're losing you. You're breaking up wherever you're at. Let's effort to try to get Steve in a better location so we can hear him. One of the other things, though, too, is in addition to Elizabeth Warren on that point, distinguishing from Bernie and then those who actually don't subscribe to her plan to take the private health insurance from 150 million Americans away. Did you catch this question? How would you convince GM to bring production back to the United States? You know, they were in Ohio.
Right.
And you know what the response was from all of them? If I could just summarize it rather than having to listen to them. Make unions stronger and increase the mandated wages. right? Mandate higher wages and make unions stronger. This against the backdrop of a UAW strike.
Right.
What is not getting through? I mean, and we're supposed to treat these people as serious. Huh. Did you also catch this from Joe Biden? I think it's better if I read it than try to hear it from Joe, just because it's that convoluted. So I will try to enunciate in such a way that you understand exactly what I said. This is verbatim quote. Why should someone who's clipping coupons in the stock market may, in fact, pay a lower tax rate than someone who is, in fact, like I said, a school teacher and a fireman? It's ridiculous. Yeah. Why should someone who's clipping coupons in the stock market? I mean, he talks about bonds like you're clipping coupons from the Sunday Circular. Why should they pay a lower tax rate than someone who is, in fact, like I said, a school teacher and a fireman? It's ridiculous. That was his defense of almost proposing to double the capital gains tax. And that's one of your front runners.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Nothing speaks louder about an auto dealer than a happy customer. And at Joe Cotton Ford, they have many.
It's like my family. I never go anywhere else than Joe Cotton Ford. If I have to buy a car, I always go to first Joe Cotton Ford. And they have best service ever, and the best price, and the best models.
My overall experience is great. It's easy to buy, it's easy to go through service, and overall, it's just a great experience.
More reasons why folks keep coming back to Joe Cotton Ford. It's Truck Month at Joe Cotton Ford. Get a great deal on an F-150, the best-selling truck for 42 straight years. Joe Cotton Ford has over 40 F-150s to choose from, with up to $15,000 off XLT crew cabs. All built Ford proud, built Ford tough. All incentives applied. Stock number T9205. Celebrate Truck Month at Joe Cotton Ford, Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream, or at joecottonford.com. joecottonford.com.
My name is David Hochberg. If you'd like to pay off debt, call Team Hochberg now about a cash-out refinance. During May, Team Hochberg helped listeners access $953,000 to pay off credit cards, student loans, car loans, medical bills, collections, and IRS tax liens, which saved them close to $19,000 a month. Since January, Team Hochberg has saved listeners over $74,000 a month, which is an annualized savings of over $888,000. What are you waiting for? Call Team Hochberg now to see if we can help you pay off debt and substantially reduce your monthly payments with a cash-out refinance. Think of all the things you could do with an extra $500, $1,000, or $1,500 a month that you'd be saving. Call Team Hochberg now at 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, all right, I think we've successfully re-engaged with Steve Moore here. Steve, you there?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. Okay, all right.
Okay, good.
All right, let's pick up this conversation where I left it, which is start with a question. One of the questions, since you didn't watch much of it, how would you convince GM to bring production back to the United States? And the response from every one of the candidates was some version of make unions stronger and mandate higher wages, like, increasing the minimum wage. So apparently the current GM strike is lost on the socialists.
Yeah. And, we know that the jobs are leaving the very places where the unions are the strongest, in states like Illinois, states like in many of the Midwestern states, where the auto jobs have gone to places that aren't unionized, in Alabama and Texas and North Carolina and so on. And so, the idea is to create more jobs by creating more unions. That doesn't work too well. All the jobs in the states that are not unionized. I wanted to go back to this issue you asked me about earlier, Dan, about Medicare for All.
Yeah.
I just want to explain to people why it doesn't work. Medicare's costs are lower because they use price controls. And what happens is any doctor or nurse or hospital administrator who's listening to the show will confirm what I'm saying. So private insurance has to pick up the costs of what Medicare and Medicaid don't pay. What happens is if you go to Medicare for everyone, it's very simple. Who's going to subsidize the Medicare, right? So the costs won't go down for everyone. They will go up for everyone, especially for seniors, if you don't have a private insurance market that's subsidizing Medicare. Does that make sense?
Well, that's right. Yeah, of course, it makes sense. And this is what people are getting at. Even Joe Biden was getting at when he's challenging Elizabeth Warren on how she's going to underwrite this all on just a 2 cents in every dollar over 50 million wealth tax. Forget the constitutionality. It doesn't come close to the numbers that are required. Bernie's more honest, but even his is static analysis and rosy thinking about how the government actually does when it's required to control costs through efficiencies and not through the force of law.
Well, that's exactly right. And look, there's a much bigger problem with Medicare for all than this. It's ladies and gentlemen, when the United States has the best health care delivery system in the world, we have the best quality of care. We have the best cures. If you have an accident or you get a disease, kings and queens from princes from other countries, they come to the United States for care. And to turn our health care industry, which is arguably one of our most important industries, over to the government is a recipe for complete health care disaster. And Amy, women seem to fall for that idea. I mean, how do we convince people the healthcare system over the government is going to destroy the quality of care?
Yeah.
Can you repeat?
How do you convince women that government takeover of healthcare will destroy the quality of care?
I don't know. I know that it will. Go to Iceland and break your arm and you'll find out. Or live in a foreign country. I mean, that's when I lived in Spain. There was government-run healthcare, and it was horrible. You know what they did for instead of an anesthesiologist, Stephen Moore? They took me to a bar, gave me 3 shots of whiskey, then took me back, and I'm not kidding, and performed a procedure on me.
Yeah, well, that's right. It's just local anesthetic. Literally local.
I'm not kidding you. Yeah. That's what they did.
So, Steve, there's your answer. Amy suggests that we take all the women who lean Democrat and send them to a foreign country.
Well, it's funny. Last night I actually had to give a speech. I was in Florida, and I was talking about freedom versus socialism, and it was interesting. These 2 or 3 women who would come to the United States from Eastern Europe, they were so mystified. They came up to me like, "How can any American be for socialism? We came from communism, socialism. We came here to get away from that system, and now half of Americans are enamored with moving to the Polish system of healthcare, or the Russian system of everybody's going to have a job and all that kind of thing." And so, ladies and gentlemen, ask your friends who have come from communist countries, whether it's Eastern Europe or whether it's Cuba, how it worked. was it a good deal for the middle class? And they'll say, hell no.
I wanted to get you to weigh in on one other item. This from Joe Biden, since he's one of the other frontrunners. What he's proposed is to jack up the capital gains tax and double it effectively. And his explanation for that last night, this is a direct quote. See if you can follow it. Why should someone who's clipping coupons in the stock market may in fact pay a lower rate than someone who's in fact is, like I said, a school teacher and a fireman? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I heard you talking about that a little earlier, and it infuriates me because a couple things. First of all, I've done probably more research on the capital gains tax than just about anybody in America. Every time we have raised are you guys ready for this? Every time we have raised the capital gains tax, the amount of tax revenues to the government has gone down. Every time we cut capital gains tax, the amount of revenue went up. The best example was under Bill Clinton. In 1998, we got Clinton to sign a bill that cut the capital gains tax, and we had a massive surge in revenue because people actually started paying the capital gains tax. Now, look, the question of why capital gains tax is lower than the other taxes is because Joe Biden, I hope he knows this, and he's just fabricating the evidence. Capital gains tax is a double tax.
Right.
The company pays the tax when they earn it, and then you pay the tax after they pay the tax on their earnings again. So if you go to 30-40% capital gains tax, you're going to destroy the investment opportunities in this country. It'll hurt the stock market. It will not raise revenue. I'm amazed that the Democrats keep going back to this idea. John F. Kennedy, for goodness sakes, cut the capital gains tax. Bill Clinton cut the capital gains tax. And I've said it again and again and again, if they were Democrats, if they were not alive, but I mean, if they were running for president, there's no way they could run under the Democratic ticket. All I heard last night, and I only heard a little bit of it, was redistribute income, soak the rich, give people stuff for free. That is not a recipe for economic growth.
He is Steve Moore, economist, Wall Street Journal columnist, author of Trumponomics, Inside the America First Plan to Revive Our Economy. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Okay, Dan and Amy, see you soon. Bye.
Take care.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
When John Mariotti started Woodland Windows and Doors in 1969, he knew that relationships were important. He knew that he needed to look out for his customers' best interests. Today, Woodland is run by the second and third generation of Mariottis, who continue to build great relationships and to service their customers. When it's time to replace your windows and doors, trust your Marvin retailer, Woodland Windows and Doors, to guide you through the process. They have a huge selection of Marvin replacement windows and doors, specialists who know their stuff, and professional installation. Homeowners and builders turn to Woodland Windows and Doors for the individual attention they get on each project. Every job is unique. Every job is done right. That's why for 50 years, they've trusted Woodland Windows and Doors with their projects. Woodland Windows and Doors, your Marvin authorized installing retailer, provides the perfect solution and professional installation. They're online at woodlandwindows.com or stop by the Woodland Windows and Doors showroom at the corner of Lake and Gary in Roselle.
Gentlemen, if you've been feeling tired and grumpy, it could be low T or it could even be sleep apnea. Millions of men not only suffer from low T, but also undiagnosed sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is very common, and it's a serious health condition where you actually stop breathing throughout the night while you sleep. It can last up to 10 seconds per interruption. Low T Center provides a complete health assessment to get all your levels checked, and now offers a home sleep apnea test that you take in the comfort of your own bed instead of a lab or a hospital. During October, it's only $49 to take the home sleep test to determine whether or not you have sleep apnea. So if you think this might be you, go to Low T Center and get it checked now. My friends at Low T Center make it quick, easy, and convenient to take care of your health. Most health insurance is accepted, and they'll even verify it for you. So call today to schedule an appointment and tell them Dan Proft sent you when you do. 630-451-9352 is the number. Again, 630-451-9352. Call 630-451-9352 to schedule your appointment, or do so online by visiting lowtcenter.com. That website again, lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Remember when you could pick up the phone and talk to a friendly voice for technical difficulties?
Yeah, now it's a help desk on the other side of the planet that knows nothing about my business and usually isn't much help at all.
I got stuck in a help chat room the other day, and it was endless back and forth. I don't think they ever really understood or cared about my issue.
It's tough to get great technical help these days. To find people that really care and invest in your success. That's what Turnkey IT does. And you can rely on them to take care of everything IT, as if they were right by your side, but without the expense of an in-house IT department. Get to know the local team members at Turnkey IT that continue to serve businesses just like yours, from 1 to 200 employees. A friendly face with a personal touch that's close by and believes your word really means something. For only $7.95 per month, you can have local IT help and forget about dealing with computer and network problems forever.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
Hey, listen up. Take control of your income and your future. I'm talking about Online Trading Academy. They are the leader in trading and investing education with courses offered throughout Chicagoland, also in East Peoria, Valparaiso, and Lombard. With Online Trading Academy, you can learn about ways to generate income and protect your retirement. Don't let somebody else make money off your retirement. Make the money and keep the money yourself. I signed up to take a free class at the Lombard location, and I was very impressed with what I experienced. I learned a lot about the markets and how to trade. The instructor was incredibly knowledgeable, personable. He really did take time to explain to us their patented trading strategy. And after my experience, I really recommend that you give it a try. So sign up for the free introduction class, and I'm sure you'll walk away with a new understanding of trading the markets. Call this number, 844-778-7132. That's 844-778-7132 to attend and get 2 free passes to their next class so you can try it out for yourself. It's full of, and also you can get the Professional Insiders Kit, which is full of exclusive investing courses and some of the best lessons from the pros. Seats go quickly, my friends, so call 844-778-7132. That's 844-778-7132, or visit them online at otaclass.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Not Tone Loc. We're going to talk to Sinclair special correspondent Lara Logan and ask her why ABC can't distinguish between Kentucky and Syria.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
CPS says they're prepared for a possible teachers' strike. One man is in custody after a SWAT standoff on the northwest side, and a man missing from Blue Island, believed to be in danger. Bears place Akeem Hicks on IR in a blow to that defense. WIND Chicago News Time. 8 o'clock.
He calls them clowns. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump reacting to last night's debate, tweeting our economy would crash if any of the Democrats became president. Many of them supported his impeachment.
Trump is the most corrupt president in the history of this country.
And I agree with Bernie, Senator Sanders.
Joe Biden, meanwhile, also had to answer questions about Ukraine.
My son did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong.
Fox's Jared Halpern was at the CNN debate, now live in Westerville, Ohio.
The 12-candidate debate was the largest ever in a presidential primary. A field expected to shrink next month as donor and polling requirements are raised.
I think it's good that there are some real challenges.
Former HUD Secretary Julian Castro has not made that November debate. Neither has his fellow Texan, former Congressman Beto O'Rourke. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, meantime, was off in the center of last night's debate with a new frontrunner status. Dave.
Jared, Vice President Pence will go to Turkey today, but the Turkish president told Sky News he won't talk to him about a ceasefire, but Secretary of State Mike Pompeo just told Fox Business.
Vice President and I are planning to take off later this afternoon, and we have every expectation that we will meet with President Erdogan.
The U.S. demands Turkey stop attacking Kurdish forces who were U.S. allies in Syria. Pompeo's former advisor, Michael McKinley, will be questioned in private this morning. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi still holding off on a formal vote on the impeachment inquiry like Republicans demand. She says Democrats are united in
the path that we are on in terms of fairness, in terms of seeking the truth.
President Trump tweeted it's fraud and fabrication, adding Republicans are deprived of their rights to lawyers and questions. They whooped it up in Washington.
We swept them!
Nationals fans celebrating their team headed to the World Series for the first time ever after finishing off the St. Louis Cardinals to win the National League pennant. They await the winner of the Astros-Yankees series. America's listening to Fox News.
44 degrees. Skies are clear. It's 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Watch out for a lakeshore flood advisory that's in effect until 9 this evening. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, right at this moment, is engaging with reporters, giving an update on the possibility of the Chicago Teachers Union going on strike tomorrow. The mayor in her press room this morning on the 5th floor after negotiations yesterday between the CTU and CPS resulted in no tentative contract agreement.
We have not achieved enough of these negotiations to say that we are done fighting. We need more.
Class sizes and staffing remain sticking points in the contract talks. Meantime, CPS school buildings will be open if there is a walkout by teachers, and all CPS schools will serve meals, breakfast, and lunch. Search is underway to find a Matson man who went missing from Blue Island and may be in danger. Authorities say Victor Medina was last seen Monday. He arrived to a doctor's appointment but left without seeing his doctor. Medina has autism and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. A woman known as a serial stowaway will remain jailed following another arrest at O'Hare last week. Marilyn Hartman was ordered held without bail yesterday for violating her probation. Bulls finish up the preseason tomorrow in the NBA at home against the Hawks. Nationals headed to the World Series after a 7-4 win over the Cardinals. Astros beat the Yankees 4-1 in Game 3 of the ALCS. It's 8:03. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs. And all the latest on the markets from Fox Business.
I'm Deirdre Bolton, and this is the Fox Business Report.
More major banks are reporting better than expected earnings. Bank of America and U.S. Bancorp both had a strong summer quarter. There are encouraging signs in negotiations to end the month-long United Auto Workers strike against General Motors. The New York Post says the two sides have reached an agreement to give temporary workers a clear path to becoming full-time employees. GM CEO Mary Barra met personally with UAW negotiators for a second time yesterday to encourage the end of the strike. MGM Resorts is selling its Bellagio and Circus resorts in Las Vegas. MGM is planning to expand its legal sports betting business. It hopes to do business in Japan as well. Japan just approved allowing up to 3 casinos there. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola. Invested in you.
8:04 and a check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
Tickets for Freedom Summit 2019 sold out in record time in response to the high demand. We've opened up an overflow room for attendees to watch the event on Saturday, November 2nd at the Westin Chicago Northwest. Overflow tickets are on sale now, but are selling fast. Get yours at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Woodland Windows and Doors, Automated Systems Incorporated, Joe Cotton Ford, HealthInsuranceMentors.com, and by Crown Weedy Roofing.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from HealthInsuranceMentors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit HealthInsuranceMentors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
8:07 AM 560 Traffic Center time and Jim Talamonte.
Southbound 53, traffic's heavy right now. Rand Road to Kirchhoff. The southbound Veterans Memorial delays are from the Army Trail toll to Roosevelt. Northbound 355 is knotted up from I-55 to St. Charles and Army Trail to 290. Eden's 23 minutes late Cook to the junction. Kennedy, 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown takes longer in the express lanes. Eisenhower, 57 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, an hour and 20 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 27 minutes, I-80 to the Merge Bishopport, an hour to mess Dalton Avenue to the Ryan. Southbound Lakeshore Drive delays are Lawrence to North Avenue, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Intervals of clouds and sun, windy and cool today, high 52, partly cloudy, breezy, chilly tonight, low 36. Tomorrow and Friday, partly sunny, the high tomorrow 55, Friday's high 60, showers on Saturday. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
44 degrees and cloudy skies, again wind gusts up to 27 miles an hour at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Mayor Lori the Lightfoot is at the lectern right now. She just finished addressing the assembled Chicago press corps with an update on where things stand between CPS and the teachers union. Here's what she had to say.
Over the last several weeks and months, we have tried to remain optimistic that through good faith negotiations and hard work, we could reach a deal and avert a strike. Our North Star has been what's in the best interest for students, teachers, and school communities. Without question, the deal that we put on the table is the best in the Chicago Teachers Union's history. Our commitment is to do everything we can to keep this work stoppage as short as possible and ensure our students are back in school as soon as possible.
We got a strike! 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. Strike, 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 strike.
I'm trying not to cry over here. Do you know what this means?
What?
Peyton and Eli are coming to work, and you're taking care of them. Strike, strike, strike.
Fine,
Yeah.
fine, yeah. Let's
No,
go.
we went on strike 7 years ago.
I'll teach them
and-
how to be men.
Yeah, well, we had man classes. We had man camp, and we would just, joke around. Honestly, it was
I'll also make sure that Peyton,
2-week strike.
Peyton puts the time in on the cello.
The cello? Oh, yeah.
I want him to be the Sweet Rican version of Yo-Yo Ma. So he's got to practice.
It's just,
you know how you get to Carnegie Hall?
Oh,
Practice.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know how you get better? Practice.
Practice. Yeah.
So now I'm in a little conundrum because I'm crossing the picket lines. I am.
Well, you're not a union member.
No, I'm not, but I'm a CPS employee, and they're going to see me, and they're going to see me bringing kids in because I'm still holding practice today at 3 to 3:45. I mean, not today, but tomorrow and Friday. And also, park districts are closed. So now where we'd normally go to practice, we can't get into. So I'm going to have to come up maybe Park Ridge, maybe Elk Grove. I'm going to have to find
could be a
other
strike
gyms.
breaker. You could be the strike breaker. You could foment a revolt where teachers cross the picket line and everybody goes back to Allman Brothers High School and teaches the kids, what are you at, like 5th grade math?
Oh, yeah. Stop it. 7th grade,
Yeah.
Shame on the CTU.
Shame.
No,
Shame.
because Lori Lightfoot, our mayor, small as she may be, just made a mighty statement. $2.5 billion is what we pay them annually, the teachers. That's everything. And she said with a B, yes, and they want to have that doubled. And the money is just simply not there. Wake up, teachers. This is all about who has more power because CTU is sending a message to Lori Lightfoot. We're in charge, not you, little lady. And now the kids are going to be out of school.
Well, so then,
not only that, but the sports teams are affected by this.
I just want to understand something because I know this is for the kids, but I also know that according to one CTU member the other day, it's outrageous that they get paid less than professional athletes. I have not heard back on my question, which is, does the fact that your pensions are more handsome than NFL players, are you factoring that in at all? I have not heard back answer to that question, so you got to reconcile that because my sense is as a good faith effort to show that they are not just focused on their own financial interests, a la LeBron James, that they would say, you know what? I'll tell you what. You give us those social workers and nurses we want, and we'll take the hit financially. We'll just hold our salaries harmless. We got these nice pensions. We're already the highest paid teachers in the country, adjusted for cost of living. So we'll take the hit. No raises for us in order to bring these nurses and social workers into the school system for the benefit of the kids. You think anybody? Who wants to? Is Jesse Sharkey? Anybody want to raise would that be under consideration? Should the negotiators offer that up? Do you think that goes anywhere? No, I don't think so.
And I feel like the CTU worked more on orchestrating a strike rather than sitting down and negotiating. Really, that's what this is all about.
There
power.
are no good guys in this story. I said it when they struck under Tiny Dancer. I'll say it when they strike under Tiny Lori. There are no good guys in this story. There are only members of the Politburo fighting for control of the Politburo.
We will strike if that's what it takes for educational justice. Are you with me?
It's exciting. It's exciting times. Congratulations.
What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Nothing.
Well, with the kids. All right, well, they said the schools will be open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So
Well, that's
I
all
got
the schools.
that covered.
That's all the school. Most of the schools are for anyway. They don't educate any kids. So for most kids, I'd say for about 80% of the students, it won't change their day at all. There just won't be the adults there. But I mean, how much control do the adults exercise over those environments anyway? Right? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Are you excited about
No,
the
I worked so hard since August 10th it started, and all the sporting events that we had scheduled for this weekend are going to be canceled, and there's going to be no makeup date. So now we are going to miss the playoffs, girls volleyball, but nobody cares about girls volleyball. So what the hell? Who cares?
Well, it's a funny thing when you start running out of other people's money. Chicago Teachers Union was the subject of John Cass's column.
Yeah.
Tale of Two Cities. Ooh. Well. Tale of Two Cities. Cass writes in his Dickensian way. Hold on. Oh, golly gee. There it is. He writes, despite what some anonymous cartoon-headed trolls say on Twitter, I respect teachers and support teachers. Perhaps that's because I come from a culture that places the teacher on a plane far above that of the rich person or the political boss. The others are feared as the teacher who is revered. I agree. I've said for eons and eons, despite all the smarmy criticism I get from the educrats and the union bosses, that a great teacher is like a great artist.
Mm-hmm. And a great coach is one you should hold on to.
Of course, especially named Jacobson. Cass makes the point, he's the husband of a teacher, the father of a son who will become a teacher, and his uncle was a teacher. We have cousins who are teachers. So anybody doesn't like or respect teachers is just a bunch of silliness. I don't like and respect some teachers, but it's not based on their profession. It's based on their conduct and performance. Cass goes on about the tale of two cities, the tale of two states. The political class and their allies in the public sector union, with all their ample tax-funded pensions, are on one side. And on the other side, they're taxpayers without nice public pensions who aren't part of the political class, but who pay for it all. And every day more of them flee, leaving fewer behind to pay the costs. Yeah. Newspapers try to put things in context, but broadcast news is not about context. It's all about urgent images, about selling emotion and drama and conflict. That's what you're saying. TV news is about feelings, not analysis. And it all gets so noisy with the politicians at the teacher rallies, eager to earn union support. Mm-hmm. But there are others don't get much screen time, don't get to make any big speeches. They sit quietly, numbly at their kitchen tables, calculating the falling value of their homes against rising property taxes that pay for public worker contracts, like the teachers deal in Chicago. As police and fire unions, who are up next, watch to see how Lightfoot will respond. And if that kitchen table isn't in Chicago proper, it's in the suburbs or in other Illinois towns where the same dynamic, rising property taxes and shrinking home values, become a death spiral. And when they leave, when they get up from their kitchen table.
Well, you keep reading it because I'm looking for gyms to rent in suburban counties like Park Ridge. They have a volleyball court.
Okay. Yeah. To try to make this bigger than you, if you could.
Well, no,
it's a little
I've
bit
got
bigger
the
issue. You can
job to do, regardless of their, adults are going to fight like school kids.
I understand. And when those who leave get up from their kitchen table, there's no big speech to make. When they leave, they're just gone. They're just gone. But this is a place that says good riddance. We don't need you. The more people who are productive and responsible play by the rules, the more they leave, the better it gets for the people in charge. And the more Tiny Dancers and Tiny Lories and Tiny Madigans and Tiny Cullertons and Tiny Dailies and Tiny everybody else, Tiny Intellects, you're going to get. So you think the revolt is coming? I'll bet you dollars to donuts that the majority of the coverage and the majority of outside interests or just rank and file parents will ally with the teachers starting tomorrow when this strike occurs, identifying with their captors. That's the virulent strain of Stockholm Syndrome that afflicts this death cult of a city and state. Bob and Lyle, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me on. Why are pensions still here? Why can't they go to a 401k like everyone else?
They can.
That would stop a lot of
yeah,
this
well,
stuff.
where's the political will to do that? There's a lot of things we can do. These aren't complicated problems to solve.
Okay, then the other thing is what about collective bargaining? Think about this for a minute. Collective bargaining, you're collective bargaining with money that the government doesn't make in the first place. It's the taxpayer.
I know.
They have no say in it. And then what happens is they put on this big show. Everybody gets what they want because government wants the unions to vote for them, to get them back in office again. So it's a big chain. It's an endless circle of something that's not going to ever be corrected.
Well, it's going to be corrected. Thanks for the call, Bob. It's not going to be corrected voluntarily, but it will be corrected because the math is inexorable. I know people like me have been saying this for some time. That's because it's been the case for some time. It's the case as sort of an immutable fact of existence. And so you try to sound the alarm before you're staring into the abyss, right? So that's what people have tried to do, presenting all the data, giving you actuarial tables, detailing the returns versus the payouts. But nobody wants to pay attention until we're over the edge. Well, okay. We're about over the edge. So something will give. And then those people who didn't heed any of the warnings will be outraged, and they'll make the same claims that the Chicago teachers are making, which is we deserve this and we deserve that, and we don't care how you come up with the money and who you have to liquidate to do so.
It's not only CTU, but two other unions also are.
Yeah,
striking.
solidarity,
Excuse me,
brother.
Chicago Park District, SEIU, blah, blah, blah.
Workers of the World Unite, the Purple People Beaters, sure. Be a good old time. John in Oak Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. I love you listening every morning. Amy, I love you more.
That hurts.
Yeah, you give out this advice. We're in a property death spiral tax. I get it.
Yep.
But we're growing families here, man. You got to give better advice for us that aren't going to pick up and move to border states. We vote the way we're supposed to vote. So, yeah, I hear you, man, but you're single living in the city, and it's easy for you to rent your apartment or condo. But us that are trying to grow families here that can't leave, give some better advice.
Well, okay, John. I mean, I think I do routinely. I'm just telling you what time it is. Everybody has to chart their own course. When the conversation about an exodus not seen since the Israelites fled Egypt that's ongoing here, I make the point, almost as a matter of course, it's such an indictment of the state because it's so difficult for people to leave because you establish roots here. You build a life here. And it's not just about financial interests. It's about family. It's about the kids that are in school. It's about the job that I have that may not be portable. Yeah, I get it. I say it. And oh, by the way, yeah, I may be a single dude in the city, but I have family here too, and friends and a life. I've been in this state for my entire existence on this planet, John.
High school, college, you never left.
So don't tell me about being vested in Illinois. I've done my time. As the better advice, you vote for the people you're supposed to vote for. I get it. I'm not chastising you, but the problem is internal. I mean, I could talk about all the Shetland Democrats all day long, but I'm also want to do the Republican Party that became completely complicit with them. So you have no two-party system, you have no electoral competition, and you have Marxism run amok. So when does the reckoning come within the Republican Party to reestablish a two-party system? When do you depose the corrupt and incompetent leadership of the Republican Party? That's also been switched in the same way that the Shetland Democrats have been switched in by the crime families on their side for the last half century. So that means suburban Republicans. When do you demand better from your increasingly small group of GOP legislators and the leadership of the party? When do you revolt against those to whom you're otherwise inclined to affiliate in order to get people that are actually interested in taking up your fight. We've let this go for so long. People come to and say, talk about something easy to say. Give us some advice on what we should do right now to make it all better. There is none. No. You can't let something go unchecked for generations and then say, okay, now give me the magic wand to wave. This isn't a fairy tale. It's quite the opposite. Horror story, more like. But that's what needs to be done. So until you want to talk about a different Republican Party, because this is about politics and policy, until you want to talk about a Republican Party that is going to be tip of the spear against the excesses and failures of the political ruling class, of which so many of them have been a part, going back to Jim Thompson, really going back further than that, going all the way back to Ogilvy and the institution of the state income tax. So that's 50 years. And it just has increased in depravity over the course of that half century. Until you want to talk about that and make some changes with those who hold leadership titles but who are not leaders, they're actually enemies inside the perimeter, then we don't have anything to talk about. Then the only thing to actually talk about is how you can weather the storm here while you plot your exit strategy. So that's the choice. Not a lot of easy options, not a lot of good ones. But that's what we've done to ourselves. So you want to teach your kids something? Teach them to be accountable for their actions. Because let me tell you something, the adults for 50 years in this state, in Chicago, have held no one accountable for what they've done from a policymaking perspective. It's only been federal prosecutors who've held a handful of them, in the grand scheme of things, accountable for breaking the law. But the electorate here has held no one, Republican or Democrat, responsible for their terrible public policy choices that have destroyed Illinois and Chicago financially, period, full stop.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. I could talk to you all day about how I feel about Townstone's service, low closing costs, and great rates. But how about listening to one of our customers?
My name's Elisa French. We've had such good experience with Townstone Financial and specifically Barry Sterner that when my mom was looking to move to Chicago, the first thing I said to her was, she had to call Townstone and got in touch with Barry Sterner, which again, amazing relationship. My sisters, when I am able to ask a question and I have many questions, when it comes to this, he really almost holds my hand with his knowledge and explains in such an easy way, and it makes me feel comfortable. So it's easy for me to recommend him.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
Hey, our listeners have helped build MyPillow into the amazing company that it is today. And now Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of MyPillow, wants to give back to the listeners. You can get deep discounts on all MyPillow products by going to MyPillow.com and clicking on the radio listener specials box and type in Amy. I was so excited yesterday to get the Giza cotton sheets I ordered just a few days ago. Twin sheets, light gray is the color, and it is a game changer. You don't need to spend hundreds and even thousands of dollars people spend on sheets. Just go to MyPillow.com. They're reasonable. And right now, 30% off when you use the promo code Amy. All shapes and sizes. And they're great sheets. They also have the MyPillow for $29.99 and the My Body Pillow, which provides the perfect comfort and support for your entire body. Regularly $89.99, only $29.99 at MyPillow.com. But you have to type in the promo code Amy.
If you have pain, listen up. Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So, Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication pain and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I've been taking them consistently over a reasonable period of time. I feel different. I walk differently. I think differently. And it's been gradual, but it makes me wonder, like, man, I was in rough shape. I think this is going to be my super weapon against, my usual miseries in the winter. That's why this is so exciting. And it's easy. I don't have to do anything. I just swallow with complete confidence. And then I feel better. It's amazing, truly. It seems like a little thing, but it's definitely, it's life-changing, no question about it.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Balance of Nature is now offering a 35% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This offer may end at any time, so don't wait to start Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Favorite catchphrase from the Democrat-Socialist debate last night. Dude gotta go. Beat him like a drum. Give me all your money. Give me all your money is sort of a catchphrase I came up with. That just encapsulates all of them. But those are your three choices. Well, that's Tim Carney from the Washington Examiner. What his favorite catchphrase is when we talk about debate with him at 8:38.
And who wants in John Wayne Gacy's house up for sale just in time for Halloween? But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Scott.
Clouds, 44 degrees, and a lakeshore flood advisory because of those heavy and gusty winds until 9 tonight. Chicago Teachers Union moves another step closer to going on strike tomorrow. No contract agreement after negotiations yesterday.
We have not achieved enough of these negotiations to say that we are done fighting. We need more.
The mayor this morning saying the House of Delegates is expected to go forward with a work stoppage vote today. Class size, staffing, sticking points that the mayor says that she has addressed. Meantime, Chicago Public Schools are prepared by saying, according to Mayor Lori Lightfoot, by saying schools will be open during regular bell schedules. All CPS schools will also serve meals, breakfast, lunch, and according to the mayor this morning, some locations dinner for idled students. Search is underway to find a missing Matson man who went missing from a Blue Island doctor's office and may be in danger. Victor Medina was last seen Monday near Maple in York. He arrived to a doctor's appointment but left without seeing his doctor. The officer who shot and killed 17-year-old Laquan McDonald is officially no longer a member of the Chicago Police Department. Jason Van Dyke formally resigned last week. You may recall he had earlier been fired. Van Dyke currently serving a 7-year prison sentence after being convicted last year of second-degree murder and 16 counts of aggravated battery. Bulls finishing up the preseason tomorrow night already at home against the Hawks. Blackhawks host the Blue Jackets. Nationals headed to the World Series, beating the Cardinals. Astros beat the Yankees 4-1 in the ALCS. The news service of Allstate. With an Allstate agent, you get a local expert and help finding the best coverage for you. And because they live in your community, you can always count on them to be there when you need the most. Plus, when you bundle home and auto, you can save. So call your local Allstate agent today. Are you in good hands? 8:32, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees another scam from the Democrats.
I got an idea. Vote on impeachment. Get it underway. Vote. And without a vote, nobody from the White House, the State Department, or the Trump administration should be testifying before this kangaroo court. The president is right. It's a scam.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Improving your home? Why not make it easy? Don't miss the free Home and Garden Show this weekend only at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake. Find the ultimate in savings and convenience with thousands of the latest home products and services for the freshest ideas to remodel, repair, and beautify your home, inside and out. Get trusted advice on your upcoming projects as you speak with local and national experts who will help you with all your home improvement needs. And be sure to attend the free expert seminars and see live product demonstrations all weekend. Create an outdoor oasis with the latest in pools and hot tubs by P&W Spas. The finest in outdoor furniture from By the Yard. Then top it off with custom metal palm trees by Designer Palms. Plus, see the latest technology in robotic mowers and snowblowers. From interiors to exteriors, from decor to outdoor. You'll find it all at the Home and Garden Show this weekend at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake with free admission and free parking. For details, visit LakeCountyHomeshow.com. That's LakeCountyHomeshow.com.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I've been taking them consistently over a reasonable period of time. I feel different. I walk differently. I think differently. And it's been gradual, but it makes me wonder, like, man, I was in rough shape. I think this is going to be my super weapon against, my usual miseries in the winter. That's why this is so exciting. And it's easy. I don't have to do anything. I just swallow with complete confidence. And then I feel better. It's amazing, truly. It seems like a little thing, but it's definitely, it's life-changing, no question about it.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Balance of Nature is now offering a 35% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This offer may end at any time, so don't wait to start Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
8:35. Let's get an update on the morning roads. AM 560 traffic center time. And here is Jim Telemonte.
Northbound Tri-State traffic snarled 95th Street to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. The southbound delays are 120 to Deerfield Road and 190 to Irving Park. Spud Adams Tollway, it's tight 59 to past Barrington Road and lead to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway from Washington to Yackley. Northbound Veterans Memorial delays are I-55 to St. Charles and Army Trail to 290. Southbound 53's tied up Rand to Kershaw. Aiden's 23 minutes Lake Hook to the junction. Kennedy 50 minutes O'Hare to downtown, heavier than Express. Eisenhower 58 minutes 390 to downtown. Stevenson an hour and 20 minutes 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan 35 minutes 95th to downtown. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Windy. Let me stress, we've seen wind gusts over 35 miles an hour this morning. Average winds at about 20. Clouds and sunshine throughout the day, high 52. Partly cloudy, breezy, chilly, low 36 overnight, 44 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by AM Woodland Outdoor Design, luxury outdoor living. amwoodland.com.
Tickets for Freedom Summit Chicago are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Wanted to get to this commentary from Sky News in Australia, sort of the restatement of a commentary. But it was interesting. Last night's debate, there was very little talk about the world coming to an end. And you think if the world is about to come to an end, as all these Democrat socialists keep saying, right. We're on a 10, 12-year clock, maybe less. It's almost time to eat the babies, as I recall.
There's nothing about reparations, and there's nothing about climate change.
All you got was a billionaire, Tom Steyer, makes a mention of this being his raison d'etre. By the way, I got to say, I will provide begrudging agreement with Bolshevik Bernie about billionaires not being allowed to exist.
Oh, because
in this limited sense, that I would also agree that Tom Steyer should not be allowed to exist.
Well, he just shouldn't have been on that stage. And he thought all along, I'm going to be the answer. And then he gets up on stage and realizes this is different than I thought it was going to be. And I'm not that effective.
Yeah, there's we continue to provide the scholarship from scientists, climatologists, the data, the misreporting of the data when it comes to all of this eschatological nonsense from the Chicken Little left. But I'll tell you, this commentary was really quite something, and it's aimed, speaking of strike, we were just talking about the CPS strike, it's aimed at so many of those CPS adults and kids who would be out on a climate strike if the teachers weren't going out on a
real strike
over their compensation. Sky News Australia restatement of a commentary directed at those climate strikers out there.
To all the school kids going on strike for climate change, you're the first generation who've required air conditioning in every classroom. You want TV in every room, and your classes are all computerised. You spend all day and night on electronic devices. More than ever, you don't walk or ride bikes to school, but you arrive in caravans of private cars that choke suburban roads and worsen rush hour traffic. You're the biggest consumers of manufactured goods ever, and update perfectly good, expensive luxury items to stay trendy. Your entertainment comes from electric devices. Furthermore, the people driving your protests are the same people who insist on artificially inflating the population growth through immigration, which increases the need for energy, manufacturing and transport. The more people we have, the more forest and bushland we clear, the more of the environment that's destroyed. How about this? Tell your teachers to switch off the aircon, walk or ride to school, switch off your devices and read a book, make a sandwich instead of buying manufactured fast food. No, none of this will happen because, the piece says, you're selfish, badly educated, virtue-signalling little turds inspired by the adults around you who crave a feeling of having a noble cause while they indulge themselves in Western luxury and unprecedented quality of life. The piece ends by saying, wake up, grow up and shut up.
Well, that's well said. 312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, Turnkey.pro text line. Please share that with the little turds and big turds in your life. Going back to our friend John from Oak Park asking what should we do? What are you doing? What are you doing in your circles of influence to inform the discussion, to move the discussion, to hold people that you have access to account for their conduct? Adding to that rather randy commentary, Richard Lindzen, he's a Harvard-educated atmospheric scientist, atmospheric physicist, in fact. He's published more than 200 scientifics and books. From 1983 to 2013, he was the Alfred Sloan Professor of Meteorology at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Does he count as a scientist, or is he just another crank? Are these just Republican talking points? End of the world stuff. And it's not even brought up at the debate. How serious are they if the end of the world is imminent? You'd think it merits some time over 3 hours. To say that climate change will be catastrophic hides a cascade of value-laden assumptions that do not emerge from empirical science. Professor Lindzen. What historians will definitely wonder about in future centuries is how deeply flawed logic, obscured by shrewd and unrelenting propaganda, actually enabled a coalition of powerful special interests to convince nearly everyone in the world that carbon dioxide from human industry was a dangerous planet-destroying toxin. It will be remembered as the greatest mass delusion in the history of the world that CO2, the life of plants, was considered for a time to be a deadly poison. It will be remembered as the greatest mass delusion in the history of the world. So what are you doing, since we're going to localize this? What are you doing to address the deluded and those propagating this delusion? Professor Lindzen also makes the point, it's a good one. Controlling carbon is a bureaucrat's dream. If you control carbon, you control life. You know, because we're carbon-based life forms. This just in.
I got to worry about that now.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows which will come? Which strike will engender the end faster, CTU or the kids on their climate strikes?
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my car is a lifeline and a total necessity to my business and my family, which is why I had to seek out an honest, truthful auto service provider. For over the past decade, I've put my trust in Craigies Mobile Service Center on Lake Street in Addison. Craigies handles full auto repair on foreign and domestic vehicles. They pride themselves on providing you the best cost-effective auto repair and expert advice. Craigies has full service bays and truck lifts that can service and manage your whole fleet. They also provide priority service for your business and can track each vehicle, alerting you to the repair before you need it, keeping your guys on the road. Since 1959, Craigies Mobile Service Center has thrived through 10 presidential administrations, giving you reputable, dependable, and honest auto repair. Do yourself a favor. Just go into Craigies on Lake Street in Addison. See my guy Vic. He'll set you up. Tell him Sean from Elmwood Park sent you. I approve of this message.
Now that fall is here, how's your fireplace and chimney? Before you light the first fire, have your chimney cleaned and inspected by Chicagoland's most trusted fireplace and chimney company. The experts at Fireplace and Chimney Authority will give your family peace of mind that your fireplace is safe and works properly all season long. And if you call today, get $45 off a cleaning and inspection. You'll be all set. Since 1995, Fireplace and Chimney Authority has been the favorite for everything fireplace and chimney. For a limited time, get 10% off any new purchase of a fireplace, new doors, gas logs, insert, or fireplace tool sets and screens. With record-breaking cold predicted this winter, now is a great time to update your existing fireplace or add a new fireplace to your home. Remember to get your fireplace serviced this fall and receive $45 off your chimney cleaning and inspection. Call Fireplace and Chimney Authority now, 630-279-8500, or visit online, fireplaceandchimneyauthority.com. fireplaceandchimneyauthority.com.
Gentlemen, if you've been feeling tired and grumpy, it could be low T, it could even be sleep apnea. Millions of men not only suffer from low T, but also undiagnosed sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is very common, and it's a serious health condition where you actually stop breathing throughout the night while you sleep. It can last up to 10 seconds per interruption. Low T Center provides a complete health assessment to get all your levels checked and now offers a home sleep apnea test that you take in the comfort of your bed rather than a lab or a hospital. During October, it's only $49 to take the home sleep test to determine whether or not you have sleep apnea. So if you think this might be you, go to Low T Center and get it checked now. My friends at Low T Center make it quick, easy, and convenient to take care of your health. Most health insurance is accepted. They'll even verify it for you. So call today to schedule your appointment and tell them Dan Prof sent you. 630-451-9352 is the number. That's 630-451-9352. Call 630-451-9352 to schedule that appointment. Or you can go online to schedule it as well by visiting lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Listen up, Chicago area. Are you interested in making active and passive income each month flipping real estate tax liens? Then listen to this. The ProSource Tax Lien Company is offering a free tax lien flip kit, which contains educational videos and a step-by-step report that will show you how to earn government-regulated returns up to 18% that are secured by real estate. Plus, see how you can access tax lien inventory not available to the public. So, if you want to become a real estate investor without swinging a hammer or being a landlord, then text Chicago to 31000 now to get your free tax lien flip kit and get ready to learn how to flip tax liens and acquire houses well below wholesale prices with great profit potential, all from home working part-time. Text Chicago to 31000 right now to get your free tax lien investor kit, plus 2 free tickets to a live training event, which includes a free smartwatch just for attending. Text Chicago to 31000. That's Chicago to 31000 for your free tax lien kit now. Individual results may vary.
Take a moment and picture your daughter. Society puts this unbelievable pressure on her to achieve, to win, to project perfection, and it affects her. I've told you about Northridge Prep for boys. Now I'd like to tell you about their sister school, Willows Academy. Girls thrive at Willows because the pressure just isn't there. There's no boys to create a social pecking order. It's a culture where what matters is how good a friend you are, not Instagram. Their all-female faculty create a warm environment where girls can be their best, not perfect. And not surprisingly, in this environment, girls actually do achieve. The Willows goal is to produce leaders, and it succeeds. Willows girls attend the top universities like MIT and Notre Dame. Willows has a strong liberal arts curriculum, small class sizes, personalized attention, and one-on-one mentoring. They're an independent Catholic school for grades 6 through 12 with your strong values. Learn more at their open house on November 3rd. Register online at willowsacademy.org. Again, that open house is November 3rd. Register at willowsacademy.org.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Rick Blavelone, second-generation owner and CEO of Marketing Innovators and a customer of Signature Bank. Our family-run company was founded on the belief that connecting to people on a human level is the best way to build a great business. And when we were looking for a new bank, we didn't have to look far. We shared an office building with Signature Bank in Rosemont and quickly saw that they were truly locally owned and operated. That's why we partnered with Signature. And that relationship makes every business decision better and every communication clearer. Marketing Innovators looks forward to a long-lasting relationship with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
They got the beat, the campus beat, the campus beat. Yeah, the campus beat.
Yeah, Campus Beat, interesting. Rare visit from Attorney General Bill Barr to a college campus, Notre Dame.
Oh.
Attorney General William Barr went to Notre Dame Law School to give a speech in private. Didn't want to deal with the hysterics there, as we've so documented. And, of course, the weak president of Northwestern, John Jenkins, and the administration there. That's given in to the Marxists, too. Another Catholic school that allows Catholicism to be denigrated, frankly, silenced, the expression of it silenced in some cases, participates in that silencing when President Obama visits, for example. Well, Attorney General Barr offered this review of our nation's founding and the importance of faith as religious liberty is attacked from all quarters of the cultural Marxist set, you know, like the dozen cultural Marxists that were on stage in Ohio last night.
And they called it a great experiment. They would leave the people broad liberty, they would limit the coercive power of the government, and they would place their trust in the self-discipline and virtue of the American people. In the words of Madison, we have staked our future on the ability of each of us to govern ourselves. And this is really what they meant by self-government. It did not mean primarily the mechanics by which we select a representative legislature. It referred to the capacity of each individual to restrain and govern themselves. But what was the source of this internal controlling power? In a free republic, those restraints could not be handed down from above by philosopher kings. Instead, social order must flow up from the people themselves, freely obeying the dictates of inwardly possessed and commonly shared moral values. And to control willful human beings with an infinite capacity to rationalize, those moral values must rest on authority independent of men's wills. They must flow from the transcendent supreme being. In short, in the framers' view, free government was only suitable and sustainable for a religious people, a people who recognized that there was a transcendent moral order antecedent to both the state and to man-made laws, and had the discipline to control themselves according to those enduring principles. As John Adams put it, we have no government armed with the power which is capable of contending with human passions unbridled by morality and religion. Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate for the government of any other. And as Father John Courtney Murray observed, the American tenet was not that free government is inevitable, only that it is possible, and that its possibility can be realized only when the people as a whole are inwardly governed by the recognized imperatives of the universal moral order.
It's perhaps a bit antiseptic, but here's the two key takeaways. Listen up and share, since we're again talking about local activism rather than throwing up our hands. What can I do? Somebody come up with a solution. Somebody point me to a switch I can flip. How about sharing in your, again, circles of influence? Two takeaways from what Attorney General Barr had to say. One, per Alexis de Tocqueville, the waning influence of religion in American life leads more citizens to be vulnerable to the soft despotism of government dependency. So if you think that being some sort of secular humanist is a great advance for civil society and individuals in that civil society, you're wrong. And how wrong you are is all around you in the form of all of the pernicious examples of government dependency, which is soul-crushing. And that's why it's wrong. Soul-crushing. Number two, today's secularists, as you may have also noticed, you've been passing attention, not exactly the live and let live variety they claim to be, are they? Is that what's happening? Live and let live? Is that what you hear on stage, what you heard on stage last night? Is that what you're hearing from the Socialist Spice Girls, from your college professors, what you're getting from the corporate leadership of your companies? No. Peter Boghossian, writing in the Wall Street Journal, sort of on the topic, going back to the college campus, since we're all on one now. Boghossian was one of those who sort of reignited the Sokol affair. He was one of the academics that came up with these farcical papers submitted to academic journals to just test the quality of peer review of what gets published. You know, nonsense about like sexual harassment of dogs at dog parks.
Right.
And they got published. And rather than those uncritical academic journals being pilloried and delegitimized and the target, those who exposed those journals as frauds were the target, like Boghossian, who was, put through a star chamber-like proceeding at Portland State University. Boghossian, writing in the journal, social justice ideologues have a stock of concepts to protect themselves from listening to inconvenient facts or reasonable criticisms. Makes conversation with them impossible. They don't want to talk with you. They want to talk at you. You're supposed to shut up, listen, and believe because, according to their underlying theory, any story that isn't consistent with their approved discourse has already been told and holds unjust power dynamics. Chances are you'll be insulted and accused of moral failures, participation in systems of oppression, racism, sexism. Conversation will go nowhere. Yeah, that's what we just talked about with Sean Casten calling Dan Crenshaw a racist. It's the same exact thing. And what does that say? You can't challenge the underlying premise. You just otherwise you just get called a racist again. And nobody asks them questions. For example, the Sean Casten case, who calls Dan Crenshaw a racist for introducing an amendment that would prohibit people in this country illegally from voting. If that's racist, then isn't the natural follow-up question, well, then do you support that or do you oppose it? In other words, if you support it, it couldn't be racist because you're not racist, right, Sean Casten? So you must oppose it, meaning you must oppose prohibiting people here illegally from voting. Sean Casten is shopping for a new constituency, just like his Socialist Spice Girl colleagues. You think, where will that analysis come from in the Chicago Press Corps? Back to Boghossian. What can you do? Listen and learn. Ask questions to try to understand exactly what these quasi-religious ideologues are saying. Then, rather than disagreeing with them, arguing with them, or trying to get them to change their minds, do something truly radical. Believe them. Believe them. We don't mean you should assent to the content of what they're saying. Rather, you should believe the intention behind what they're saying. When they tell you they believe capitalism is a system that needs to be overthrown, believe them. When they tell you they believe liberalism is designed to support and maintain white supremacy, small L liberalism, accept the sincerity of that dogma. They are cultists. Believe them and prepare to respond in kind to try to persuade people who are otherwise reasonable and haven't been programmed by the cultists. Mike in Geneva, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I fight this every day. I got a 20-year-old kid who obviously is the smartest person in the world, questions me on everything. Everything I do is like, oh, well, haven't you read this? Don't you know? Well, clearly you can't believe that. It's like, I'll give him your credit. He's smart. He tries to investigate things, but he's young and he's stupid. We continually fight against these dumb, bad, rejected ideas and people who are willing to believe them because they're young and naive. It's tiresome, but we have to keep fighting it.
Absolutely. Thanks for the call, Mike.
And thanks for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, who's our technical producer, and Quinn McCarthy is going to be what? Our CPS babysitter for our children?
Apparently, for the
tomorrow.
foreseeable future, yeah.
We're back here bright
Strike,
and early.
strike,
tomorrow
strike,
morning.
strike.
They're coming to work, and you're hanging out with them all strike long. Now, here's Mike Scott.
Chicago Teachers Union a step closer to walking off the job. A man missing from Blue Island said to be in danger, and the Bears place Akeem Hicks on IR. Bulls host the Hawks tonight in the finale of the preseason. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.